Good morning, everybody. How we doing? It's another day that ends in Y, so that means we've got AI hacks to talk about. Who saw GPT Cyber Launch last night, and who applied for the program to get approved? I find it kind of funny that a bunch of us were really up in arms about this like Discord asking for our ID thing, and then the literal same exact verification system is used in this platform. And I'm just seeing a lot of people's screenshots on Twitter that they signed up for it. I'm like, hey, weren't we all just up in arms about this exact verification platform being used by Discord? I get it's different. Subtext, Jay, Francisco, how we doing? How we doing? So if you guys didn't see this, it's a program that OpenAI put out yesterday that talks about how you can apply to be a trusted cybersecurity like person, a cyber defender at OpenAI. Basically saying they will not lock your account out for doing hacking stuff with ChatGPT, which normally it would like refuse. So we're scaling up our trusted access for cyber programs to thousands of verified individual defenders and hundreds of teams responsible for defending critical software. The thing that I haven't really figured out is like, where do you get this whole thing going? So I've seen people like get access to it, but then like when you still choose the model, it's like GPT 5.4. Much needed coffee. Me too. Me too. Cold brew kind of morning. Mohammed, what's going on? Jay, yeah, I already joined, of course. Like, of course, I have to. This is kind of my jam. In preparation for the more capable models over the next few months, we are fine-tuning our models specifically to enable defensive cybersecurity use cases, starting today with a variant of GPT 5.4 trained to be cyber permissive, GPT 5.4 Cyber. In this post, we share how we expect this approach of scaling cyber defenses to lockstep. So, yeah. Yeah, Jay, I know I'm laughing about the identity verification thing, but like, yeah, I don't see it though. Like if I'm in Codex, so I'm not really a Codex user, right? I kind of live in the command line with Claude Code. But if I pull up Codex, there's no like for cyber situation going on over here. So I don't know. It said I was approved. I mean, it's doing vulnerability researchy stuff for me now, but I don't know. Yes, the entire Avatar movie got posted on X, which is kind of a bummer because it seems like it's a banger. Are we going to play with the new toy? What should we aggregate? Yeah, so here's my issue. I started my ChatGPT account when like it very first came out. And so I like used some old throwaway Gmail account when I signed up, right? I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll just use this old Gmail account to like try this new chat toy, right? Like literally when it first came out. And then I used it more and more, and GPT was like king for a little while. It was really good. And it starts to like build a bit of a memory about you, and that makes it more useful, right? It snowballs. So you don't have to like explain what you're doing every time and whatever. It kind of is like, oh, I know Matt's a hacker that like does this stuff. But then I have a bit of a team at VulnU, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool to like get some of my team members using this stuff like for efficiency on certain things, whatever. So I was like, you know what, let me upgrade my account to like a business account, change my email to like my work email, you know, get a little bit more official with it. So I upgraded it to a business account, you know, I think you have to pay for like at least 3 seats to count. And I was like, okay, I'll give 3 of my teammates or 2 of my teammates and me seats. And then it wouldn't let me change my email. You cannot change your email associated with your OpenAI account. So I was like, well, this is kind of annoying because like, you know, I want to run it through all the corporate stuff and card and everything and just like isolate it from personal life. And it just like will not let me change the email account. It's like a hard no, cannot do that. I was like, okay. And then this whole thing comes out, and I haven't really used Codex. Codex is basically their version of Claude Code, right? And I'm definitely more of a Claude Code user. But Claude Code's quality has been degrading over the last 3-4 weeks. Hypothesis is that they're in a bit of a compute crisis, maybe because of all the Mythos usage spinning up with Project Glasswing, and it's so much more compute intensive that Opus 4.6 quality is going down. Anthropic is not saying that, but that's like people's things. It's like provably going down in quality. I hadn't really felt that quality drop in a lot of my stuff until yesterday. And I was like really banging my head on something and it was making mistakes left and right and like doing shit that I didn't want it to do. Right. And then this GPT thing comes out and I was like, all right. And a bunch of people are saying, hey, Codex quality didn't drop. It was never as good as Opus 4.6, but it didn't drop. So it's at least, it's now better than the degraded Opus 4.6. And so I was like, all right, let me kick this GPT for cyber thing. There's a good enough excuse as any to like switch over to Codex for a little bit and see what's going on. So I go over to Codex and I get approved for the cyber thing and I fire it up and like 3 prompts in, you know, a few minutes in, I was like, oh, let me check the usage. Like how much usage am I chewing through here with, this vulnerability research? Tends to be pretty token heavy to do vulnerability research. You're throwing a lot of code and a lot of weird things, a lot of multi-step stuff, right? I chewed through 30% of like my 5-hour Windows usage in like a couple prompts. I was like, oh man, okay, this is not good. And so basically Codex, just like Claude Code, has a $200 a month plan that's like their max plan. It's like Pro 20x. It's like 20x normal usage, $200 a month. I'm like, man, I already paid $200 for Claude. Do I really like? I'm just trying to like kick the tires on this thing. Do I really want to kick off another $200 for Codex? But I thought about it and I was like, all right, let me go look at like what that upgrade process is like. You can't, if you're a business account, you can't buy that Pro 20x plan for Codex. It's just not available. I would have to like change my business account to an enterprise account or something like that and then just pay for API usage. And it's like, I'm too small of a business. So I'm in this like no man's land where I'm a small enough business that I can only give them $20 a month per employee, right? So like I am stuck on this $20 a month plan because I fucking changed it to a business account, which is permanent. I cannot change it back. Can't change my email and I can't change it back. So I'm actually considering nuking all of it. Like just, hey, forget this account ever existed. No, my team barely uses it. Like just turn it all off. And it's just so frustrating. So anyway, when you're asking, are we playing with a new toy? I'm like kind of kicking the tires on it, but like I really don't want to. I just don't want to climb this. The time that it would take me to like nuke the account, start a new personal account, pay them $200 a month, probably get reapproved for that cyber thing, and like kind of get it up to speed on me, who I am, and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, man, that kind of sucks. I don't know if I want to do all that. First world AI problems. Excuse me. So yeah, pain in the ass. I'm like literally writing in the chat to a bunch of friends who are bitching about Claude messing up for them. I did the same and I nuked it all as well. I have 3 different accounts for most of them and rotate projects. All right, Jay, you're a psychopath like me. You're chasing the local LLM dream. Man, show me the light. If you can get even remotely the quality of Opus, I mean, I don't even think Opus 4.6 is even possibly achievable with local LLMs. If you're even in the realm of usable on a local LLM, let me know. I feel like everyone singing about local LLMs and like OpenClaw or Hermes or whatever on Twitter is selling something or full of shit or just like doing it for content. Anytime I've tried any of those, they're just garbage. Useless. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think Gemma 4 is like the thing I'm hearing best mumblings about, but I don't know if it's good at like code, right? It seems like maybe like a good Gemini. Gemini sucks at code too for me, but maybe it's like I use Gemini almost as like my Google now. It seems like Gemma 4 might be in that realm. I don't know. Tell me. You can change username in Gmail. Oh, yeah. I can just straight change that Gmail account. You're right. And then old Gmail accounts become a alias. There's a guy named Jack Wrong who's distilling versions of Gemma and Opus distilled. Best small local model going. Yeah, but like best small model going is like, king of the trash heap, right? Like, what's the actual usable use case? I kicked the tires with OpenClaw for like 2 weeks, and I did not find a use case that stuck. Its memory was garbage. I tried all the memory hacks. It was garbage. I never found anything that I wanted to like use it with. Same with Claude Cowork. Everyone, like I see all these YouTube videos and Twitter threads about Cowork, and I'm like, I've tried it and I'm like, why the fuck would I do it in Cowork? Like Claude Code it's like, if Claude Code is better than whatever it is that you're talking about, I'm just going to use Claude Code. Drafting to save tone. Okay. So this is, I think, Canary, that's the actual dream, right? The actual dream is figuring out in some sort of like deterministic way, based on what you're prompting, what part of the workload does not need to chew through Opus 4.6 tokens. Right? I think that's like the true dream. It's just like, hey, I want to just use 4.6. Did you guys hear rumors that 4.7 was coming out this week? Right now in your circles, people jumping in. Yeah, literally my group chat right now on my other screen is Claude Code is 500ing right now. Well, Claude Code is 500ing. What do you all want to talk about? And then it's been so blank, fill in the blank, unstable, restricted, underperforming this week. And someone wrote a gazillion %, just one and then a bunch of zeros %. And then that's why this week, look at my Codex usage, and it's like almost caught up to Claude Code in usage this week for them in their Maestro dashboard. And I was like, I literally was just typing. I was like, yeah, massively messing up for me last night. I just quit what I was doing. It felt like Sonnet 3.5 again, blatantly not following instructions and coding itself into corners. Just absolutely was like back to where it was months ago. Did not feel like 4.6. And then someone just agreed with me. Felt this so bad, just simple, non-complex things like, hey, send a command for X. Yeah. After reading all the ways the Anthropic makes sure you burn your tokens up and then not letting us have access to Mythos leaves a sour taste in my mouth forever. Yeah. What's killing me, I have an i9 3090 machine, and what's stopping me trying to min-max is electrical. Man, yeah, that's wild. You're literally just power capped. Canary, I completely agree. I almost am like, is there a lawsuit here? In like, hi, I paid for something. It worked at this quality for this long with like without hitting my limits. And like for the same dollar amount, all of a sudden my limits dropped and the quality dropped for the same fucking thing. Right? Like what other product could you buy that all of a sudden you can use less and it is worse for the same price? Like how is that okay? How do I word that? I can't fucking type the sentence. I was like, I can't think of another product we'd tolerate paying for that all of a sudden its quality was worse and it's limited your use of it. That's not, I can't. Why can't I write sentences? I can't think of another product we'd tolerate paying for that all of a sudden dropped steeply in quality. Never mind also for the same price started enforcing new lower usage limits. What the fuck? Opus 4.6. You'll be with Codex. So are you all paying the $200 for Codex too? Because I literally, so I just kicked off, I just like rage quit yesterday. God, yesterday was bad. I was at the office for like 12 hours. I just kicked off a bit of the vulnerability research stuff that I was doing. So I've got like a folder for vulnerability research, and I've been doing the Claude Code shit with it for a while, Opus 4.6 stuff for a while. And I was like, Mythos came out, or, Mythos was announced. And I was sitting here like, I'm burning my week's worth of Claude Max on Google and Apple vulnerability research, and they are in Project Glasswing. Like they internally are running Mythos. So I was like, what fucking chance do I have running Opus 4.6 over here by myself on one computer, single threaded, for all intents and purposes, single threaded, when they have millions of dollars worth of tokens being fed to them by Anthropic to go find the vulns that I'm trying to find with, the old model now. I was like, why am I burning my Claude Max account on this? So I really, I started to back off. I was like, this is dumb, right? Why would I use my tokens on a program that they internally have Mythos access? Ask me if I'm crazy there, right? Or tell me if I'm crazy there. But anyway, I had this folder doing vulnerability research. I was going to make content about it. If it started to succeed, I figured it would make good videos or good live stream content as I kicked it off, right? And then it was finding bugs. It was not doing really well at writing POCs. So I was like, whatever. And then so I had this folder. I was like, okay, this is a perfect folder to fire up Codex in because it's got a bunch of work that I have burnt weeks worth of Claude Max stuff on, right? And I was like, all right, let me fire up Codex with this new GPT Cyber in this folder and see where it goes. So that's what I literally rage quit yesterday because I saw that I was chewing through the Codex limits so fast and Claude was fucking up and whatever, right? I was like, all right, here you go. You're not starting from zero. I'm not like, dear Codex, go find vulnerabilities, right? And so it's going, right? But I just as I started stream, I said, okay, pick up where, whatever I said, okay, let's go ahead, kick off this new system and plan that we just worked on last night, basically, right? And in that one prompt, I'm 15% of the way through my limit until 3:00 this afternoon, right? In that one prompt. You're new to Claude, and man, do you cheat through your limit? Yeah, it's $200 a month or bust on Claude for sure. And so that's what I'm like, is this where I am with Codex now too? And I'm like, man, this is stupid. You've heard, sorry, I'm scrolling up. I've heard from my friends at other smaller companies what's stopping them from getting more seats with Anthropic is that Anthropic was reserving the right to cancel the account for any reason. That's not good to the enterprise level. Yeah, they can just lock you out for sure. I've seen a bunch of people just get locked out randomly doing vulnerability stuff. Trying to gain sympathy for the stack deck. Jay, are you talking about what I was talking about Mythos versus Opus? Like I got Opus, they got Mythos, stack deck? Yeah. Nope, it's not working. What's up? How do I say your name? Custudus? Kaz? Can I call you Kaz? I had a friend named Kaz for a while. I can't afford that. $20 subs, cut it short. Yeah, Roman, I get it. You should see if your gig would get you Claude Max. If you could put it on the company, you know, $200 a month is like whatever, right? For a company, for their employee, that's like normal software cost per head for something. You should ask them. Be like, yo, can I get a Claude Max account, please? You run free code, Codex 5.4, Paul Architect. What's that? Basically a code rip of Claude code with OAuth log and Spark. Cool. Steve. You're like, this is just my name, Steve. I'll try to remember that because, okay. I do remember Francisco's name is Francisco. My 0-day vuln research agents for Claude is surprising me every morning with mind-blowing results. Only problem is who's going to pay the bill. And he showed his extra usage. So he blew through his max and then did $500 in extra usage. Man, I'm now that we like talk about it, I'm super annoyed at this drop in quality. Like, I'm really hoping that they get their act together and that like 4.7 drops this week and it's better than 4.6 ever was. And that's why this quality was going down, because they were about to release 4.7 and Mythos came out and everything. And 4.6 was just going to like slide off into the sunset. About 159 million tokens through Codex. I think it's the second best with one exception. Claude is really good at Flutter. I use Codex as backup, but stay in Claude. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the general consensus, but Opus 4.6 for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's not been true. Like, it's just hot garbage. Which is like, they got us all fucking hooked, right? We saw the light. Opus 4.6 was like God mode, right? $200 a month plan, felt truly unlimited. Opus 4.6, not making mistakes, actually generating good code, like actually just not making mistakes, right? Doing stuff. If it did make a mistake, it recognized itself and like it could actually do what you needed it to do, right? It still had limitations, but it wasn't just like confidently fucking up, which is what AI had done until then, right? Like just confidently fucking up. And now it's doing it again. That's what it did to me all last night. I was like, we're not doing complicated work right now, right? I'll tell you guys what I was doing. My newsletter provider launched an MCP server. And I was like, okay, let's try to kick the tires on this MCP server to see what I could like do with my newsletter in terms of like automated segmenting or do data analysis on, click data and like which of my subscribers are clicking what. And like, it just be good data to like start slicing and dicing on my side. Why not? Right. Just like analyze my newsletter subscriber data. If I have this MCP server, I was like, oh, Claude Code, go like figure out a bunch of cool shit to do with this new data access you have. And it kept fucking up. I was like, this is not a complex problem. Like, we are not trying to find 0 days here. What about optimizing the token for Claude by running it with an open source first, stacking the prompts for efficiency? Yeah, so Jay, I don't have like a good orchestrator to do that. There probably are some that people are using that could do multi-model on the same prompt or like pass off or something like that. I think each cloud model is advantaged me. Gemini's context size. How bad is the quality dropped? Is there a visual explanation? Yeah. Let me pull up. I found a graph of someone showing the benchmark drop. Claude performance dies between 2 and 11 a.m. It's your hint to sleep. Oh man, do you think they literally spin down compute at some point? Gemini data context. Send to Opus for planning. Send to Codex for UI UX. Yeah, but what are you doing? Like, what's the harness to handle all of that, Canary? Roman, good eye. We did update the logo. Do you like it? Did they nerf it or the load grew too large? Yeah. Canary, you're building it. So yeah, this is what like I'm hoping. So I use Pi, right? Dan Miesler's Pi. And like we've been talking to him a lot. And I think he's kind of motivated now because he like went hard Claude native even before Opus 4.6, right? And so he's even talking about, okay, because he already has the whole like, how complex is this prompt that I just got? Then do something different based on complexity level and like type of prompt. Like this is all built into Pi already, right? So it'd be interesting for him to, at the point where it determines what kind of prompt it is and everything to do, to then slice and dice which model to like bring in. Pi, P-A-I. Claw environment is what I want because it can analyze or split work combined with open router subscription. Yeah, Francisco, you're spitting the dream. It's just like P-A-I, Pi. I've pulled it up on stream before, haven't I? I know I have. I'll bring it up. Personal AI infrastructure, Pi. This is how I live, right? Let's see what the good visualization is here. Pi principles. Yeah, it's got this algorithm. Whoop, scrolled on accident. It's got this algorithm that like it feeds everything you put into like this loop, right? So it's definitely not token efficient, but that's like not what he was going for. And then it's got this like permanent memory system, including like personal stuff about like you and your goals. So it's like orienting your prompts around just like who you are. It's also a really good skill management system and hook management system. And then it's got this like I haven't filled all this out, but enough of it out, right? He's got all these like telos deep understanding about yourself that like does actually help you get like the kind of output you're looking for, right? So memory hook, skills, workflows, preferences, identity. And then it's got this router, right? So like based on the prompt, what tools does it need to figure out that it needs to like spin up in that given moment, right? The thing is, it's all currently Claude based, right? I'll put in a custom voice system. I don't really use the voice stuff. Terminal. And then, yeah, you can like set it up. But anyway, since like when it spins up, it like puts you like through this, I forget what he calls it, like the council or something like that, where it like kind of red teams the idea a bit. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about Hermes. I haven't tried it because I felt like I was, wasting my time with OpenClaw. So if you're just saying, like, a lot of people are just like, Hermes is OpenClaw, I'm like, I don't know if I care. Take a look. I have a research currently in the works comparing all harness agentic workflows. Yeah, Pi is kind of like the GOAT right now. And Dan is like, that's like basically Dan's full-time job is working on this stuff and researching it. He doesn't have a day job. So he's pretty actively developing it. And so, yeah, it's good. And then Maestro is my other one. Canary, have you been on stream when I've pulled up Maestro? Maestro. Run maestro.ai. Let's see if we
Let me give you an
mute Pedram's voice. This is like, this is kind of not looking good in here as I like keep clicking around. It's not looking good. Okay, I can't play that video cleanly on stream. Let's see, features. No. How can I showcase team GitHub? Where's like the docs? Yeah, here you go. So at first, Maestro, I just used it as kind of like a context management. Like you can open new tabs. So think of each tab in here like a new time that you typed Claude in a terminal, right? So you have like a single chat context and you can kind of switch between them at like you're in a browser. You could also start a new tab resuming an old context window with like a hash value, which is super useful. So that's how I started using it. But then really the magic, like, so you can have like all these different projects or whatever, and then each of the project can have Git like work trees that start new branches and shit, so you don't like break main. But the real magic is on the right here. They have this auto run feature. Let me see. Auto run and playbooks. So auto run is really where the magic starts to happen, where I can, so my workflow when I'm coding with Maestro, I go into plan mode and I have plan mode spit out a bunch of these markdown files with checklists, markdown checklists in each of them, right? And then you go to this auto run feature and you give it all of the markdown files with tasks in a checklist that you just created in plan mode. And then it just doesn't stop. It just goes through them. So it'll run for hours. And each checklist item gets its own like context window and everything. So like, and you can give it like success criteria and stuff. So it doesn't run into like compaction issues or any of that kind of stuff. It'll just run for, I've had it run for over a day straight on like a really long list of tasks, or you can do it in loops, kind of like Ralph. And so that's kind of the move. Fixing the sliding window problem. Yeah, totally. Yeah, Allbirds. Did you see my tweet about it? My Allbirds tweet was, what if we added .com to our pet store name? What up, Aries? You survived your ransomware attack? I was rooting for you. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-da-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-da-da. I'm a billy goat. Many more gray hairs, unscathed. Cool. Haven't tried Hermes yet. Work's kicking your butt. Francisco, is your gig, you don't have to like say it in chat, but is your gig where you got placed after that gauntlet thing? Hermes versus OpenClaw is simple to me. One is the executor learner. The other is the testbed channel aggregator. If you're playing with a social media bot, I could see a use. Which one's which? OpenClaw is, I see a lot of people using OpenClaw and giving it a Twitter account or whatever. Think about all the orgs using Claude right now that have no idea how bad it's become over the last 4 weeks. No statement for Claude, but a total revert from where the model was to where the model was a year ago in comparison to when 4.6 got released. The amount of bugs. Hold on, I'm going to pull this up on screen because Claude replied. And we were just talking about this. So Dave has been like one of the big, he vocally has been like, literally since 4 weeks ago, been like, yo, Opus 4.6 sucks all of a sudden. And I wasn't experiencing that at the time, especially with Pi. Yeah, Canary, I get that. Yeah, you got that gig through Gauntlet. Dude, Francisco, I was just talking about this morning with somebody that I was like, their model is so crazy to me that they can pay for like the housing and boot camp stuff with the proceeds of like recruitment placing. Like the math just doesn't math in my head unless I'm just not thinking about it right. So Dave has been like the one touting that Claude was having some issues. I wasn't having the issues. I thought Pi might be what's saving me from a lot of the issues, because if you're using like raw Claude code out of the box, you definitely have a worse experience than I do with Pi. And I was like, oh, maybe Pi is throwing enough tokens at this that I don't notice the degradation. But boy, did I notice the degradation last night, right? And so this Boris is head of Claude Code. So Boris is like, what issues do you have in mind? Here to help if there's a specific bug you're running into. 125 replies to a reply. This isn't even a viral tweet. 125 replies to a reply. Dude, that's funny. Boris walked out in front of a train because we're all having a bad time. Hey, Boris, appreciate you reaching out directly. I use GPT skill that will check code quality per each time Claude does something. Prior to 4 weeks ago, Opus was absolutely insane and by far an incredible experience. About 4 weeks ago, it started introducing substantial bugs in code, not completing complex tasks. Overall code quality on benchmarking went from 7 out of 10 to 4 out of 10. Started off at about 24% decline in code quality, but has hit 47% over time. No changes in workflow, skill, etc. I thought it might have been me. I removed my workflow, skill, anything I could think of in high effort max, still experiencing the issue. Still thought it might have been me. So I reached out to my development team, and every single person is experiencing the same issues, symptoms. It is not usable for us at the moment, and we've had to pivot off of Claude. It looks like several thousand folks on social media, Reddit, are experiencing the same type of behavior. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Dave, that's about as respectful and clear that you could have replied to that, by the way, right? And nothing. No reply from Boris. All right, let's go through. 9 hours ago, he's gotten 125 replies. Boris, I can't use Opus. I moved to Codex because it's so bad. I'm an engineer with 20 years experience. Please believe me when I say this is bad. Would you mind running /feedback and sharing the ID the next time you see Opus do something weird? Would be very helpful for debugging. This is such a weird response, right? Because we're seeing it like at a systemic level. It's not like, oh, I had a weird thing happen in this chat. It's like, hey, 2 weeks ago, this thing was God mode, and now it's fucking up. That's not like a, hey, something went weird in this chat that I can like point to. Boris, I got something been using Claude Code since the week it launched. In the last month, it's not even able to make simple front-end changes. Helpful thing would be if you could run /feedback. Hard to pinpoint issues. Check your F-bomb telemetry. Can confirm swear chart is flat. Man. It's just so weird, right? What up, down bad? Yeah, I think most of those Polymarket Twitter threads are just dumb engagement stuff. It's just so weird to like be continually asking. Like they literally don't know. Like they don't know what's going on. It's like, hey, I need more signal. We need more specific things to chase. They don't know why everyone's having issues. Super weird, right? You're down bad for Claude to work properly. Yeah, so are all of us. Roman, I was just thinking that this morning. Like literally, we were getting to the point with like in my friend group where we were like, okay, it is irresponsible for us to be running certain parts of our companies without just like feeding it to agents, right? And so a lot of people were straight up like, oh, I have to build agents that have personality and agency to like do and handle a bunch of stuff. And then like imagine if you did that. Happened around the time of the leak. No, the leak was just like their front end code. You know what I mean? It was just like the CLI. It had nothing to do with model performance. Imagine being at the application layer purely on Claude. If you had a contract or military deal, it's gonna be nuts. If you had a military deal, they don't let you touch their stuff with this. Anyone I know who's doing government contracts just can't be as AI forward with their stuff because contractually they're not allowed to touch any of that data with that. Man. Oh, hold on. I'll put this on screen. I'm like typing. What up, Kilobyte? Good to see you. I'm like writing about this, right? I'm like 125 replies in a few hours to this reply to Hack and Dave about Claude degradation. Is that spelled wrong? Oh my God. Following the thread, I truly believe Boris and team have no idea why everyone's experience is getting worse. He's asking for people to slash feedback in sessions to point out specific bugs. It's just not that. I can't point to a session and say, here, this specific thing is just Sonnet 3.5 levels of work. We can all just feel it. Right? Kilobyte, how you hanging? Yeah, more correlated to Glasswing is what it seems like. It seems like it's a compute crisis, right? Time to go drop $100,000 and set up min-max 2.7 locally. I think that they're like, I would spend a significant amount of money if any local model could touch Opus 4.6 of a month ago. Like I want Opus 4.6 of early February back. Jessie, she's a YC founder now using 5 claws to manage her life. Yeah. All right, Francisco. What's her? We'll pull it up. I think a lot of those people are full of shit. I think anyone who's like slinging like all the Mac minis and open claws and like how they've min-maxed their life is full of shit. Have I ever spoken with Corey Clark? It's not. No, I don't think I have. Jesse's business partner is the one who started Obsidian. Cool. Obsidian, yeah. A lot of people are obsessed with Obsidian. I'm not like a big note taker, so I've never really gotten into it. I tried really hard to get into Obsidian. Just not my natural workflow to like do the note thing. Can't even get a PDF to upload to Claude normally. Yeah, they're having issues, man. They're having issues. Yeah, it's bad. It sucks. Like, so now I'm like, okay, I kind of want to use Codex, but I physically cannot give them more money with my current account. Like, I'd have to start a new account and I don't want to. Gosh. Obsidian's the only reason you can function. Yeah, you know what? Honestly, that I understand. That I understand. Trying to pull up my buddy. Oh, Podsidian. My buddy Pedram, who wrote Maestro, is an Obsidian freak. Look at, oh my God, look at all this. Look, can you tell when he started Maestro? He's an Obsidian freak, and he's got this RSS-idian thing that brings RSS feeds into Obsidian, and then you can create automated pipelines to do like quality filtering on your RSS feeds. So you can like bubble up higher signal stuff. Smart feed management. So like this is his life. RSS-idian, and this is podcasts, I think. Podsidian bridges your Apple podcast subscriptions with Obsidian, creating an automated pipeline for podcast content analysis. It's the same thing. He doesn't like listen to podcasts. He like, his Obsidian tells him when he should listen to podcasts, if they're good or not. Seems like output quality loss. Here's the same prompt at 2 Stephen times, and the output is not only different response for quality. Yeah. It's tough to explain Jesse's setup, but in podcast interviews, she goes through the issues, this guy's a wit. Oh, dude, I can see him. He's sitting right there, Pedram. And he's a freak. He records everything with Granola his whole life. Like every conversation, every meeting gets recorded through Granola and gets fed immediately into Obsidian. So I have an Obsidian file in his vault that's like every conversation we've ever had gets like tracked and like followed up and everything. He's nuts, dude. He's nuts. Maestro Discord, Maestro Playbooks. Oh, did you guys see this? I haven't played with this yet. So this is my buddy Ron, another homie here in Austin, Ron Eddings, who just dropped this. It's a browser. So people are, I think they're building it into Pi and Maestro at this point. I don't know. I can't tell from the group chat why this is different, right? But you guys should go check this out. I've dropped all the Pedram GitHub stuff into chat before, right? If you guys want me to drop links, I can drop links. This is what I'm looking at now. He's another like cybersecurity media guy, but he's legit. He's like a hacker for sure. But he just he just built a better browser use tool. Every browser automation framework talks to Chrome through DevTools, and every site that cares can see that. Your agent gets detected, your session gets blocked. You're running a separate browser instance that doesn't have your cookies, your logins, your context. So this is like why OpenClaw was like, cool, used your browser. But this is different. I think he's doing it in a more token efficient way. So Interceptor was built because clicking through 20 rows at a time on sites that refuse to give you your own data in bulk is a waste of your life. The goal, click through a workflow once and have your agent see everything, not just the page, but the network requests underneath it, the API calls, the pagination parameters, the auth tokens, then intercept those requests, rewrite them, and pull back everything at once. Goes further than extraction. The deeper goal is this: teach the agent by showing it. Record a session, let the agent watch the clicks, the keystrokes, the DOM mutations, and the network's calls that each action triggers, then hand it a replay script and go do this for me every time without asking. It doesn't use CDP. It doesn't launch a separate browser. It runs as a Chrome extension inside your actual browser. It passes major bot detection tests. It intercepts the DOM tree so your agent can read what's on the page. It intercepts network traffic so your agent can see the APIs behind the UI. And it intercepts your workflow so your agents can learn what to do and repeat it without you. And then literally, we were all playing with that. I haven't played with it yet, but in group chat, everyone was playing with that. And then all of a sudden yesterday, he did the same thing for computer use. I was like, bro, you like casually launch computer use? So Interceptor Mac OS gives agents structured accessibility trees at the OS level input, real-time speech recognition, on-device vision, sound classification, and system-wide event monitoring. The fuck? Crazy, right? Insane. Why does YouTube do some stupid shit when clicking links instead of letting me just copy the dang link? Yeah, I don't know. It's probably a safety thing. People dropping scam links in chat and shit. Reminds me of the old school Diablo 2 packet hacking days. Yo, cloud level. Cow level. Cow level. I got to play with this. Oh, look who's a contributor. Pedram, the wizard. What did Pedram PR in here? Add installation section to README. Thanks, Ped. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We like Interceptor. What we're gonna just feed it to codec. We're gonna pull it down. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull it down. Hold on. Where am I? Let me stop sharing my screen real quick. We're gonna clone this. All right. Git clone this guy. Okay, we have Interceptor locally now. We're gonna go into codecs because apparently I have to use codecs now. No, we're gonna try Pi. CD Interceptor Pi. All right, Claude Code, don't suck. Just don't suck for a few minutes, all right? My buddy Ron's, I have some MCP server that fucking opens a browser tab every time I open Pi and it gets window control focus. My buddy Ron's new project, Interceptor. I'd love to be a contributor. Let's evaluate what it's doing and propose some new features we can work on. All right. I found the GitHub doesn't like bots on the site. Interceptor might help. Yeah, I can only get the basic chat functions to work. Claude Code is probably extra buns. Oh, that's right. People said it was 500ing right now, right? Let's see. Let's see what Pi does. Claude has announced the sucking hole is suddenly enlarged greatly and is unlikely to navigate a path through its ethereal delusions. Yo, Canary Trader, you have a way with words. That's really funny, dude. Canary, do you shit post on the Twitter? Because that would make a good tweet. If you go tweet that, let me know and I'll repost it. Been playing a lot of D2R recently with the new Warlock update. Oh, I saw Warlock dropped. Yo, how crazy that like some game that I played as like a preteen just dropped a new class. You know? No, I don't want to steal. I want to repost you if you exist on the Twitter. If you don't worry about it. How is the Warlock? I've heard it's dope. It's kind of like Necro, right? And that's what I used to main. I used to main Necro. Diablo 2 remastered? What's the R? Diablo 2 reformed. Resurrected. Diablo 2 Resurrected. That's right. That's right. I played it for a little bit. So we used to do these streams. I got to like get my home rig set up again. Oh, guys, I'm building a bit of a home lab and like NAS system. It's not usually my kind of content, but I figured I could like talk you guys through it. It'd be interesting. So I ordered, God, I picked the worst time. Fucking hard drives have like gone up like 40% in price and I paid it. I was like, oh, damn. I'm buying 2 28 terabyte drives for my NAS. Okay, here's my credit card. RIP. Sucks. Insane prices when you need it. Yeah, I don't need it. I could have waited, but like, I don't know. There's no, like, I've played this game before and the prices continue to go up sometimes. And so, I mean, whatever. It's not like it, it was like something that should have been $200 was like $340. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck am I going to do? So, I bought, here, I'll show you guys what I bought. I bought one of these suckers. Do. Sorry, I got distracted. Easily distracted. I bought one of these guys. This one. I bought this guy. I thought that was a pretty fair price for what amounts to like an actual decent computer. Right? Have you guys seen these Ugreens? I thought I could have like run it with like a really cheap computer, but like you can't get like people are like, oh, running on like an old ThinkPad or something. I was like, how much cheaper am I going to actually get on like an old laptop or whatever? I was looking at Synology Kilobyte and I went Ugreen for reasons. This felt a little bit more customizable. I think. Let's figure out my reasons. So Synology seems dope. Where's their NAS? Rack mount? No. This is what I was looking at, right? Like, what's their comparable one? Here's their comparable one, right? Why did I choose Ugreen? I did a bunch of research and I'm just like kind of forgetting at the moment. I think it was significantly cheaper. Right? Like, oh no, it's about the same. I think that they like, as a Synology partner, you would hold off now. You have a Synology dual NAS. I like the software they package with it. Quality's going down, price is going up. TechStation. RAID 6. So I don't know why. I forget why I picked Ugreen, but I picked Ugreen. I don't know. We're going to rock with it. And so I went with this sucker for reasons I can't think of at the moment. That's so ridiculous. I do like a disgusting amount of research on stuff when I start going on it. You wanted to implement where only allow their memory or certain memory to work with it. Yeah, Synology just seemed a little bit more closed wall is what I think it was, right? And I want to do this. Is this the thing? Before I pull it up on screen. Yeah. So I was looking at this, the R stack. Are you guys super familiar with this? I haven't really messed with this whole world in many, many years. Right. And so this looked kind of interesting as like the stack of apps that like you would want to run on one of these things. And a lot of it like goes to that like replacing a lot of SaaS stuff. So yeah, you could like force VPN, you could have the media server, all this kind of stuff. But then there was also like you could replace like some normal SaaS shit that you just wind up paying for years, right? Like Google Photos and things like that. I was like, oh, all right. And then like I figured I could do it like for my family or whatever. Like open it up to my family and like let them use it too. Because if I can stick like a whole bunch of terabytes in this sucker over the, I'm only using 2 of the slots right now. So I figured I'd just wait for the other 2 slots because it'll probably take me a bit of time to fill up 2 28 terabyte drives. Going down the homelab rabbit hole. I mean, yeah, what else am I missing? So I figured the other bit would be, so like that R stack is cool. Yeah, I just wanted to figure out some of these other like self-hosted cloud stuff. There's like an operating system that I saw people running that had a lot of the open source versions of a lot of the SaaS apps. You stopped hoarding files and data. So the only reason we have the NAS is my wife has almost a terabyte of photos and videos. Sigh. Yeah. Well, I'm starting. You're stopping. I'm starting. I'm going to start hoarding files and data. There's like an operating system that people have been talking about that has like an app store that's like the open source version of a lot of the self-hosted cloud stuff. Hexa OS? Self-hosted cloud. Is it Hexa? No. Hex? Is this it? I think this might be it. So I think this is something that people run on the Ugreen. Maybe this is why I went Ugreen. Partnership with TrueNAS. What's the apps though? Command Deck. No, I don't have an account. Just show me. Features. Apps. This can't be it then. This is too early. This is too early. Is this it? Is this what I'm talking about? And their website just kind of sucks? I feel like I saw some YouTube videos about like self-hosted cloud stuff. Self-hosted cloud NAS. Oh, did Chuck talk about it? He was talking about file cloud. I built my own cloud and cancel every subscription. All right, what is this? Is this, I'm trying to, yeah, Ugreen. But then what is the every subscription stuff? I remember watching a video that talked about like all the different apps. And I'm not talking like pirating stuff, right? I'm talking just like the self-hosted versions of a lot of other random bits and bobs, right? Umbrel. Is that what I'm thinking of? Don't self-host these services. I'm like looking around YouTube for some of the videos that I was talking about. Maybe it was Hex. Let me just search for Hex OS on. Oh, Linus did it. Let's watch this.
Hello and welcome back. And that is right, today we're returning to the subject of hits.
Here you go. So here's the dashboard. Yeah, I think this might be what I was thinking of. Have you guys messed with this? So they have like an app store in this operating system, and a lot of the apps are like, you know, one-to-one replacements of SaaS things that you would pay for, right? Curated apps. Handbrake, Home Assistant, Jellyfin, the R stuff. No, this doesn't look like the same store I was thinking of. Man, I wish that I could remember the thing I was thinking of. And now I don't think that it's Hex OS. I don't know. I'm like, what are the other? Is it TrueNAS? That might be it. TrueNAS? No. No. Umbrel? This might be it. This might be what I was talking about. This website doesn't look familiar. Yeah, Pi-hole, the App Store. Yeah, this might be it. This might be what I was thinking of. Yeah, I think this is it. This doesn't look quite the same. Like, let's see, Umbrella Home. Oh, but do you need to use this? Like, can I not use Umbrella on Ugreen? Like, you got to buy this device? Umbrella iOS. Umbrella OS. Oh, maybe you don't. Maybe that's just Umbrella Home is like that thing. Your sus of any software that tries to provide shortcuts to doing things manually is usually there's some sort of, yeah, I agree, right? Like you could just run a lot of this stuff in Docker yourself. What's up, McMedden? What was the goal again? What was what goal again? Sorry. It's probably why Synology is closed. They're prepackaged. Maybe I'm just thinking of Synology. What's the Synology thing? Maybe I'm just thinking of Synology. That's so true.
I reviewed a lot of Synology.
Oh my God, this might be the guy that I even was thinking of. Lawrence Systems. MB? Container management, storage analyzer, snapshots, hyper backup. Synology photos. Cloud sync. No, this is Synology, right? It's like a full ass operating system that just has a lot of this stuff built in, right? It's not like that app store that I'm thinking of. Yeah. You could do like your cameras and whatnot. What's MB? I don't know. Is MB a jellyfin like alternative? Anyway, this is the rabbit hole I've been going down. But you're right. I think like why not just roll a lot of this yourself, right? A lot of this is open source for that reason. Like we're adding like a pretty UI on top of it, and it's probably sucking data like off of it. Yeah, Debian skin. It's like, yeah, okay, so why? Like I'm technical enough to be able to roll with this. You're a sucker for pain, you enjoy learning. Yeah. Casa OS. Man, there's so many of these little personal cloud OS things. Huh? Personal cloud reimagined. Featured in Hacker News and Product Hunt, meaning we posted it there. Connect all of your precious data. Yeah, these app stores, right? But like to Aries' point, these are all open source projects. It's just a pretty UI to install a bunch of open source projects, right? What's up, Katana? What's up, Jerry? Open Media Vault. You use it in VM. Well, about that, Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't install the Chinese skin on my home servers. Maybe not. Maybe when we're trying to take back control of all of our data, we don't install the Chinese project. Maybe not. Maybe not. I wonder how difficult it would be to make one of these front-end OSs yourself. Oh, Aries, you're not kidding that you like pain. His brain just went to, what if I roll my own OS? Oh, man, the pain lover. Claude helped me with the calculations. Keeping a PC server 24/7 could add $40 to $100 a month. You're talking electricity, huh? But the equivalent Mac would be 20 to 40. 1/5 the electrical cost. Yeah, dude. The Mac Studios and the Mac Minis are like the best. The best. Says the guy who gave up 5 minutes into trying to write basic C. That's a different kind of pain. That's a different kind of pain. My money is on something that he personally doesn't see because of his own patterns of behaviors. All right, let's see what Claude Code didn't. Claude Code did not 500. I wish I could safely share this screen with you guys, but I feel like my AI agents have too much personal shit that it could just start spitting out. Like, I want to share my command prompt window right now. But I'm honestly like, are you going to just start yapping about, like, a ton of stuff? You know what I mean? Don't. Jerry's like, don't. Exactly, right? If I just, Claude Code just starts replying on live, like, well, since you were talking to me about, like, you know, all this stuff, and since you made this much money this quarter, like, you know, whatever the fuck, it just starts spitting out. It's more than that. It's marketplace, of course. Vendor scrutiny is paramount. Yeah. The council's spawning. All right. Interceptor is impressive for 4 weeks of solo work. The architecture is clean. The biggest strategic gap is MCP server integration, but the smartest move is to sequence your contributions. Then ship test, then token output optimizations, then use case stocks. After 4 merged PRs, pitch the MCP server is optional. It pitched that I should add an MCP server to Interceptor, which I'm not even sure what would do. I asked my Pi to evaluate Interceptor and pitch contributions we could make. It suggested an MCP server. Did you hear about Notepad trick people did to streamers? Chat asked them to open Notepad, and people forget that Notepad now remembers last draft. Oh, no, I didn't. That's gnarly. That's gnarly. Dude, I like tried to subscribe. I was like watching a YouTube video on stream once, and it was like low level or something, and I was like, oh, let me subscribe to low level to like pay him, right? I'll like join his YouTube, so he gets like the $5 a month for me or whatever. And it like pulled up the payment prompt on screen, and like with my credit card info, like I mean, you know, the last 4 or whatever. I was like, what the fuck? Like, just why? I like just clicked subscribe and it's like, do you want to use this credit card? I was like, God damn it. Like, I never thought that it would do that. I had to like go edit it out of the VOD. So I texted the group, including the guy that wrote Interceptor. I was like, hey, Pi just evaluated some features and it suggested MCP. And he and Bedroom goes, put a bullet in your AI right now. It's done. It was built specifically to avoid MCP. So funny. That's so funny. I'm saying, I just passed your suggestion to the Interceptor team. This was their response. Put a bullet in that AI. It's done. Actively exploited Nginx flaw. Oh, great. Great. Am I supposed to be a security news channel? Should I talk about security news? I'm just like yapping. Sure, let me open up my news feeds. I did pull up some tabs we could talk about today if we wanted to. It's so funny. I'm like passing this back to the team. Sorry, I'm slightly distracted. Do we want to talk about any security news? We can, I guess. I was having fun hacking with you guys on random stuff. All right, I pulled up a few. PDF 0 day. I'm like, what year is it? Actively exploiting for at least 4 months. The vulnerability officially tracked as this allows attackers to remotely plant malware on a device. So it's just straight RCE. I didn't really check this. What is it? Critical vulnerability. Give me the CVE details. Yeah, code execution. Code execution in Adobe Acrobat. Discovered the vulnerability after someone uploaded a copy of a malicious PDF containing the exploit to his malware scanner in a blog post. Interesting. Samples on virus total. Interesting. All right, watch out for PDFs right now. Actively exploited too. All right, what'd the news say about this GPT for cyber thing? We were talking about this to start the day. All right, so they're saying Interceptor is like Chrome Dev Tools, but it actually works. It's a CLI tool combined with the Chrome extension. All right, OpenAI's... Yeah, this is clearly OpenAI trying to ride the glasswing wave. Cybersecurity experts in the US have described Mythos significant improvement. GPT-4 has been fine-tuned for testing and vulnerability research. Yeah, I'm just not seeing, like... Is anyone seeing, if anyone tried this, are you seeing it in Codex? Like, I'm not seeing it in Codex at all. All right, so it needs to be, Interceptor needs to be a Pi skill is what they're saying. So Dan is sending me his new Interceptor skill. We can try that out. All right, he's going to post it here in a bit. All right, what else can we talk about? Oh, did you guys see this one? This is kind of crazy in the Apple App Store, because Apple App Store is like the safe haven that doesn't get fake apps. But now we have a fake Ledger app, which is a crypto wallet. Malicious Ledger Live app on macOS available in the App Store drained 9.5 million crypto from 50 victims in a few days this month. There's a fake Ledger app tricked into entering their seed recovery phases, giving attackers full access to their wallets. Zach XBD on Twitter is awesome. Stolen amounts were then laundered through more than 150 deposit addresses on KuCoin, linked to a centralized mixing service called Audi A6, which launders crypto in exchange for high fees. The investigator tracked 3 individual victims. Musician G Love on X said that he lost around 5.9 Bitcoin, $430,000 after downloading the app. Real tough day today. I lost my retirement fund in a hack scam when I switched my Ledger over to a new computer and by accident downloaded the malicious Ledger app from the Apple App Store. All my Bitcoin gone in an instant. It's crazy. Malicious actor who also created a fake version history by releasing new major versions every few days, going from 1.0 to 5.0 within 2 weeks. Following multiple user reports, Apple now removed the fake app, but not before $9.5 million stolen. KuCoin, which has been accused of violating anti-money laundering laws in the past, was even ordered to pay $300 million in penalties in the U.S. last year, announced that it had frozen the accounts involved in the latest scheme. However, the platform noted that the freeze will only last until April 420. Beyond that date, the freeze can be extended via an official request. It's important to note that Ledger offers a Mac app on its website, but not in the App Store, which is only an iOS compatible version if available. So that's where threat actors saw that, said, hey, there's a Mac app on its website, not in the App Store, but they do have an iOS version. So they're like, oh, we'll just sneak a fake Mac app because there isn't one, like the legitimate one can't pop up above it, right? Threat actors have attempted to exploit this availability gap again in the past, targeting Microsoft Store, stealing 768,000 in crypto. That's nuts. Nuts. Let's see in Codex. Okay, here's a good thing. We're going to add a new project to Codex. Okay, Interceptor. Okay, Interceptor. New chat in Interceptor. 5.4. Let's go high, not extra high. This is my friend Ron's project, Interceptor. I'd love to contribute. Let's evaluate the tool and suggest some features we could add and cook up as PRs for him. Morning, David. Do I ever sleep? Why? Why would I need sleep? What's the 1,000-foot view? You want me to pull the GitHub back up for Interceptor? Since I'm messing around with it right now. I slept pretty good last night. I didn't get to see any family or do anything that wasn't work. I was at the office for 12 hours yesterday. Oh, did I fucking tell you guys what I did yesterday? Never thought I'd see the day Matt making PR slop. Matt making PR slop would be Matt writing code by hand, okay? I am trying to donate tokens to a homie is what I'm trying to do, okay? Can't Apple track people who installed these apps? Yeah, probably. Are they super incentivized to try to help out 50 people? I don't know. I went to bed at a decent time last night. I got a pretty good sleep score on my watch. Oh man, did I tell you guys what I did? So you know how, if you guys were hanging out and stream yesterday, I talked for 2.5 hours. I streamed for 4 hours. 2.5 of those 4 hours, I was talking about that CSA Mythos report, right? Building a Mythos-based, Mythos-ready security program, right? I was like, okay, I can't ask my editor to cut down to 2.5 hours of me rambling live into a YouTube video that's of any quality, right? A, my poor editor. B, it just won't be good. So I was like, okay, I got to record a YouTube video about this. Let me just jam on this. So instead, I was like ready to go home, and I was like, okay, no, I'm gonna do this really fast. Let me just record. And I was like, I really want to get this out today. People are talking about this report. Maybe I'll edit it myself. So I was like, all right, so I recorded and it was good. I was high energy. I was like, because we already talked about it for 2.5 hours. So I knew what I wanted to like hit and I was really vibing, and I fucking uploaded it and passed it to my editor, and there was no audio. I like switched something on my mic when I was done live streaming, and there was no audio. I recorded for like 45 minutes to an hour. Just video. Me going like this. I was so disheartened. I was like ready to go home. I'd already streamed for 4 hours. I recorded a bunch of sponsored content that I needed to get out the door for their approval and stuff. And then I recorded for like an hour for that video. I was like, oh, God. So I did it again. So I stayed for another hour and recorded the damn video again. So I didn't get out of here until like 7:30 last night. Sucked. And then I was like, well, I'm not staying to edit this to get it out last night now. No way, I'm dead. So I passed it to my editor and I'm like, it'd be cool if we could like do this for tomorrow, which is like not the speed at which my editor works. But we'll see. We will see. Yo, who all was chatting about Diablo 2 in chat earlier? So what I was going to say is I used to do, when Diablo 4 dropped, me and Jason Haddix did a bunch of live streams where we would like talk hacking, but while we were playing Diablo 4. So we would just be like grinding early Diablo 4, like first season. That's my YouTube short. What? Just fucking crying about the fact that I recorded whatever. What up, Robbie? Squirrel. That's me, man. I'm all over the place. But it was cool. We would like grind. We grinded season 1 of Diablo 4 a couple nights or like once a week or whatever. And we just like, we're like, yo, come hang out and like, we'll talk security shit. So people would come out, like Jason runs classes about bug bounty hacking and stuff. And he was just like answering questions in chat while we were grinding for stuff. What am I playing now? What's Crimson Desert? I've never even heard of Crimson Desert. I was trying. I'm not playing a whole lot of anything right now. Did you just hear the story where I was here until 7:30 last night? I mean, what? Who's got time for games? But before, I just recently moved. And before I moved, and moving consumed all of my life and also disassembled my computer at home, I was trying to play through Claire Obscura, Expedition 33. I'm only in the beginning of Act 2, so no spoilers, please. But it was very good. It took me a while to get into it. I didn't really like it at first. And I was like, why did this win Game of the Year? And then as I played it, I was like, oh, I get it. I get it. It's very good. Very good. What's Crimson Desert? I got to look it up. Before that, I was playing Pal World. You guys ever play Pal World? I was playing a lot of Pal World. Reclaim power, reach beyond. We could pull this up on chat. Reclaim power, reach beyond. Should I buy a PS5, peeps? I do play Steam stuff, but I got a really nice new TV in my living room. I got like the LG G5. I'm like, ooh, I think a PS5 would crank on this, wouldn't it? This looks like Skyrim. What is it? This looks like freaking Elder Scrolls. Dude, this looks so good and like directly up my alley. Whoa. Am I like the first one that didn't know about this game? Is this like hyper popular and I'm an idiot? Yeah, what's combat? I want to watch combat. Skyrim meets Red Dead, like the two best games of ever. Palworld was goated for a couple months. Yes, if you haven't played it in a while, go back to it. I played it early and it was fun and whatever. I just kind of like ran out on it. But then I picked it up again and it's really good. It's really good. Like so I was playing Valheim with a homie and we played a decent amount of Valheim together, and Palworld feels like Pokemon meets Valheim. Like you got to do the whole survival thing and whatnot. Blue Prince I've never heard of. Played a lot of Palworld. Yeah, it's good as shit. Red Dead and Skyrim are probably my top 2 games ever. A lot of controversy about this game. You've been busy. It's a huge release. Pi skill interceptor. Jay's like, can we get back to the fucking AI skills, please? Where did I put it? Yeah, Pi. If you Pi have a skill for Interceptor, and then Dan said, short version, I told Pi you don't do work or validate work or claim that web work has been done unless you have validated it with the Interceptor skill. So now when the algorithm finishes a particular piece of work and it goes through the verification steps, it uses the Interceptor to validate the web work, is what Dan said. Sorry, we're gonna go full ADD here. When did this all come out? Oh, in the last couple months. Yeah, I've been super busy.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to another Crimson Desert Features overview video.
This looks sick.
Last time we took a closer look at Pywell, its characters, the stories within, and open world exploration. Today, we'll be shifting our attention to another important aspect of the game, combat and progression.
Is this a multiplayer?
Combat in Crimson Desert is visceral, and the battlefield is yours to shape. You will grow your arsenal of skills,
Yeah, Jay, I
weapons,
agree.
and equipment, and it'll be up to you how you use them.
Single
Whether
player?
it's an aggressive offense, precisely timed defense, or even using your mounts and the environment to your advantage.
It almost feels like
Combat in Pywell is full of possibility.
Souls-like battle. A lot of like parrying and dodging.
Wield a wide array of weapons from sword and shield, spears, great swords, axes, and various ranged weapons. Each weapon has its own advantages.
Is this good?
So switch
Robbie,
back
have you
and
played?
forth to the ones that best fit your style and the situation you're in. Powerful weapon skills can be paired with
there's
hard-hitting,
guns?
barehanded hits and kicks, as well as a wide range of
You haven't played
grapples to
yet?
create seamless chains of attacks. Elemental enhancements further expand your options by empowering key abilities, allowing you to burn, freeze, and stun enemies. So combine weapons and chain skills the way you want and forge your own approach to combat.
It doesn't seem as punishing as a Souls thing, but it seems a little Souls-like, right? The controversy was they used AI-created content during dev, but made lose Game of the Year. Oh. As I sit here making AI-generated content. I understand it's different for art, right? Like, hey, pay artists. Use cases. Canva is one of his use cases. New custom Canva design on the Canva home screen. I'm going to be like, Ron, what the fuck? Are you making like LinkedIn carousels? Let's see what Codex said. Codex said for Interceptor, the strongest parts are the product shape and the code shape. The CLI surfaces is coherent. The browser extension split is clean. Passive network captures genuinely differentiated, and the session monitor scene work feel like new beginnings. Teach by example system. The repo isn't flimsy. If you want PRs that would actually help, Ron, this is the best I found. Monitor. The repo's own Canva handoff note says monitor stays on the original tab after the new editor opens. And the current monitor model explicitly keyed a single tab ID. A PR that tracks child tabs via open tab ID, auto arms the new tab and emits attached detach events would be very high value. Monitor export. Persist correlated network bodies instead of relying on live net buffers. Geez, this is way, way, way different. So funny. What's AC Shadows, Robbie? I don't even know that one either. Oh, Assassin's Creed. There's a new Assassin's Creed? What? What's up, Brandon? You fix your notifications? I can't believe there's a new Assassin's Creed. I remember playing the very first Assassin's Creed and thinking, wow, this story is going to be so cool. You know, because you're like unraveling the mystery of like Ezio in that room, and like you're seeing the you're like time skipping from like the present to the past. I was like, ooh, like I can't wait to like basically read this book as I play this game. Then you played like the next two games and you get like no further in the story whatsoever. And they're just like, here's a new person that like goes back to the future or back to the past. And I was like, all right. And then I think that it's been like, what, 15 years? And it's not like they've been like, end scene. Like they have, there's just like nothing related to that really cool story that they started in the very first Assassin's Creed. Like Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 were legit sick. I really haven't played a single one of them since. It's just like COD with how similar and bad they all feel. Yeah. You've been grinding Salt and Sacrifice, a 2D Souls game. Dude, I do not fuck with Souls games. I should get a PS5 because I got to catch up. So I was going to get a PS5 also for the Blu-ray capability. But now that I'm building the home server NAS, I can download the legit high quality files via that, right? Or I mean, perfectly legally rip them off of media that I purchase. Bloodborne 60 FPS on a rooted PS5. I didn't even know that was a thing. UF with souls because you're a ginger and eat them. Yeah. UF with souls because you don't have one? Oh, excuse me. Didn't they just announce PS6? Did they? So I should not, huh? Oh my God, yeah, they did. Geez, literally when? Like last month. Oh my gosh. Oh, this isn't their official site. Release date speculation. No, this isn't their thing. Plans point to 2027. Next year, maybe. I mean, it's about time, right? So the Bloodborne community has a couple dudes making fan patches to fix and upgrade the game. They also built a PC port of the game. Pretty crazy. That's wild. Can a rooted PS5 run an LLM? You guys are nuts. You guys are cray. When oil flowed and PlayStation was $2 instead of $4 signs. That's funny. When you got your PS5 Pro, that's when PS6 rumors happened. Of course, right? Do we want to watch another unprompted talk? I was kind of considering that today. The CISO at Google gave a talk about how they're doing AI stuff at Google. I was going to watch I was going to watch this on 1.5 speed with you guys. Or we could pick a different one or not do this. Or we can keep jamming on gaming content. Working and lurking. We're down. All right. So Heather Atkins, VP Security Engineering at Google. On the CSA like AI report, they called her CISO of Google. I don't know which is accurate or if she just recently became CISO of Google. But Heather's an OG. She's been at Google since literally APT1. Like if you go listen to any of the documentary stuff about APT1, they're interviewing Heather, who was there. So she is OG. Farwala Gold Pro. Brandon, you're always up to some shit that I am not jealous that you're the one doing. And not me. Better you than me, man. All right, let's rock. I'm going to put this on like 1.5 or something. And we'll interject. Let's go back to the intros. I want to hear their intros.
Great. Well, amazing to be here, Gaddy team, the whole team. I mean, it's such an incredible community. I'm Heather. I work at Google, and I do cyber
I've met this guy.
stuff. I'm joined by my amazing colleague, who
that's
leads
Four.
security and privacy for DeepMind.
Oh my
They sent
God.
him all the prompt injection bugs, not me. I want to
I haven't
maybe
seen him
start
in
just
years,
by
since I
setting the
lived out there.
scene a little bit. I think it's an understatement for all of you to say that this is an unprecedented time. We will all look back on I think, the year 2026 as the year everything pivoted. And we will also think of 2026 as a simpler time. I think it's going to get a little bit harder and a little bit more complex. We are not far off from a world where there will be an open source full hacking tool where you can type in, go hack Google, and a week later it'll come back with a root prompt. We're not far off, and we know this for a few reasons. Number one, there are now open source frameworks for doing pen testing, finding,
Wow. Like CISO of Google just said, we're not far off from saying, hey, AI, go hack Google and getting a root prompt. Excuse me? A root prompt? Like, not like, oh, a cross-site scripting. Like, I think that might be hyperbole, but who the fuck am I compared to her?
Simple vulnerabilities in web apps, et cetera. I did a little back of the napkin math as well. There's about $1 billion of VC money going into startups for vulnerability discovery, pen testing, red team simulation.
Yeah.
So
that's obvious
between all
in
the good
RSA
guys
and Black
and all the
Hat.
bad guys, I think it's fair to say we are at a point where we'll be able to find every vulnerability in every system with agentic frameworks.
Totally,
and that's going to be
Robbie.
a completely different world. It's going to change the way we think about vulnerabilities, the way we rank them, prioritize them. We'll have to change the CVSS scoring system because it won't be meaningful anymore.
Yeah, duh.
There will be a world where we just have too many vulnerabilities. And to give you some sense, we are already seeing it. I checked this morning, and the vulnerability database, the NVD, has a 30,000 backlog unanalyzed vulnerability queue. But even given that, between 24 and 25, there was a 35% increase in logged vulnerabilities that got a CVE. And not every bug that gets discovered gets a CVE. So we're already seeing kind of a cataclysmic increase fairly significantly. And that brings us to the impetus for the project we're going to talk about today, Big Sleep and CodeMender. These are two projects, research projects out of Google and Google DeepMind, with one goal and one real deep meaning that I want to leave with all of you today. Next slide. Is that we simply must eliminate every software vulnerability on Earth. And that is the legacy that people in this room need to leave behind.
What? Do I need to rewind that? Chat, is this thing on?
Meaning that I want to leave with all of you today. Next slide. Is that we simply must eliminate every software vulnerability on Earth. And that is the legacy that people in this room need to leave behind to the next generation of technologists. And it is not a simple problem, it is not an easy one, but
Okay. So, we just all have to sit with that for a sec. Effectively, the head of security at Google is saying that the vulnerability discovery skills are going to get so good in AI agents that our only option is to eliminate all security vulnerabilities.
it is the one that we have to solve, because as humanity goes beyond Earth, we just simply need to not be dealing with cross-site scripting bugs. And we have a little ambition at Google to get rid of memory safety bugs as well. And that is what we're going to talk a little bit about today. On top of finding every bug, we have to be able to give developers the tools to not make them anymore. And the technology we're going to talk about here today.
So I think that's the real trick, right? Is like Brandon said, so eliminate humans. Kind of, right? I think they're leaning towards like humans don't write the code anymore. So the machines that write the code better not code vulnerabilities. And it's a bold take, right? But
Today also lends itself to that. Next slide. So I'm pretty sure everybody who's played with an LLM has pointed it at some code and said, please find me a bug. And it's actually pretty good. Even the older models are pretty good. And as we have the new generations coming out successfully, kind of every 3 to 4 months, we're seeing a massive improvement in what the large language models can do about reasoning about code. We wanted to go one step further and not just look at the shallow bugs that are easy to find, but to really look at the kinds of bugs that top elite researchers can find. There was a 2017 study, a RAND study, that showed just how long an expert vulnerability researcher takes to find kind of a deeply embedded bug. I think it's somewhere on the order of a month for finding the bug and about 22 days for exploitation successfully. But what if you could build an agentic reasoning system that could do that in a matter of hours or minutes, and you could find the deep bugs much faster, more reliably, and potentially early in the software development lifecycle? So the approach that the Big Sleep team has taken to finding bugs is not just to use the LLM for the basic things you can prompt it to do, but actually to recreate the human expertise of our Project Zero team. Project Zero is a team that's been around for over a decade. Their goal is to get rid of 0 days. They haven't been successful yet, but they think they're going to get there with this technology. So they want to recreate that kind of deep researcher experience with 3 things also in mind. Number 1, we want uncompromising quality. We do not want to produce AI slop with the bugs we find. We want everything that lands in a developer's hands, especially an inexperienced developer, to just work out of the box. Number 2, we need this to be cost-effective and efficient at scale. We have trillions of lines of code on the planet, billions of lines of code at Google, and we want to run this all the time. So it's got to be fast and efficient. And third, as real time as possible. Right now, we're all looking at brownfield code, so stuff that's already launched in production, open source code, stuff that's already out there.
Brownfield code. I don't think I've ever heard. I mean, obviously opposite of greenfield, right? Have you guys heard brownfield? I don't think I have.
We want to be able to put it in the developer's user journey so that they're not launching new bugs in the future as well. And we think if we do this, if we get it right, we can probably be creating and maintaining code that's relatively bug-free in the next couple of years, right? This is kind of within not only our ambition, but our capabilities with the tech. Next slide. So let's talk about Big Sleep. And I'm not going to do code reading here or anything. We're going to talk architecture a little bit. One of the first things we realized as we studied how the researchers work is that they become deeply expert in the code base they're working in. And if you've ever met a really good vuln researcher, they kind of tend to get deep and niche in one area or 2 areas. And the way they do this is they understand the code. They look at the kinds of bugs that they've had in the code before, past vulnerabilities. They do variant analysis. And they have a really good understanding of code architecture. Okay? So we have to give that to this agentic reasoning system as well. So we harness that, and that's phase 1. We then enter into phase 2, which is this agentic framework that's working constantly in a loop, feeding back to itself. It's building hypotheses, perhaps based on past bugs, for example. Here's a part of the code that I think might be vulnerable. Let me test that hypothesis. To do that, it needs tools. Okay? It needs a debugger. It needs the code browser.
So if you guys don't remember, Big Sleep was one of the first announcements that we saw from a company that wasn't trying to sell this as a thing that could be marketing. That was yo, our AI agents just found a bunch of 0 days. Not hacked a website on HackerOne, because we had heard a bit of that. But no, we found 0 days.
And it needs a Python interpreter so that it can write scripts for itself. So what it's doing is that it's not just prompting itself, it's building code, it's building test cases, and it's able to test its own hypotheses and see if there's success and failure, and it's doing that constantly in a loop, right? This is far beyond just prompting, find the cross-site scripting bug in this code. Okay. And it's this hypothesis and revision that really gives the system that feel of an expert researcher, right? And if you've ever met them, they sometimes are just standing in the corner staring with their coffee going, I can't get that bug, I can't get that bug. This is what the LLM reasoning loop is doing. Once it has a successful crash that it thinks might be a valid vulnerability, we then move into the verification phase. And it's looking at feedback data that's coming out of the debugger, and it is actually then building an exploit. Okay? And this proof of vulnerability is so key to getting the false positive rate to 0, and we've managed to do that. So every bug that comes out of there is not only a candidate for an exploit for vulnerability, but it's actually provably a vulnerability. We then write a report, and again, it's Gemini writing the report, it's not a human. It's got the proof of vulnerability code, so the developer can test it. It has a high-quality report that does a step-by-step through every function, every part of the bug. It explains the bug in detail, so that if you have a non-expert developer, they're going to understand what's going on. And we've managed to do this to the extent where end-to-end, fully automated, without a human involvement, we're getting 0 false positives. And these are deep memory safety bugs. Right? These are not cross-site scripting bugs. These are not kind of shallow integer overflows. They're kind of deep in the code base. And we've...
So I do want to point out that everything I'm hearing about Agentic found 0 days, everyone's talking about memory safety bugs, which are traditionally very hard to find, right? Fuzzers and all this kind of stuff, right? I'm starting to think that that's not look how amazing these things are, so it must be able to find everything easier to find than this. I'm starting to think they're just really good at finding memory safety bugs, and that's the thing that they're good at finding. I've yet to see any proof of other kinds of 0 day paths versus code review finding memory safety bugs, which is great because guess what? A ton of fucking 0 days in browsers and operating systems are memory safety bugs. So cool. If we're going to eliminate a class of bugs, that would be it, right?
Put them all online, that's the URL down there, our issue tracker. So you can go in and see them and see the quality of the report, and I think all but 5 are fixed at this point, so as I checked this morning. So that's Big Sleep. This is just the vulnerability discovery. We've done one half of the job for the developer. Now we've got to do the part that really sucks as a developer, which is fixing the code, and for that I'm going to pass it to Cor.
Great, thanks, Heather. All right, so let's zoom out for a minute. I want to speed up a little because I want to make sure that we have time for questions, but I have a lot to cover. So we said we're going to try to fix every security vulnerability on Earth, and we're not kidding. So what does that mean? There's a whole bunch of other pieces besides the big sleep component, right? So finding vulnerabilities is one part, but also we have to help the developers patch those vulnerabilities. I'll talk more about that in just a second. But one other thing that I want to make sure we at least touch on, we're not going to talk about it in detail today, is that also brand new greenfield code that's being generated through vibe coding frameworks actually needs to be secure out of the box as well. And so that's something else we're working on. We don't have time to talk about that today, but we think it's a completed thought, right? Where if you have legacy code that we can find vulnerabilities in it and we can get those automatically patched, that's the middle to the top arrow. If we have legacy code, we can actually proactively harden that code. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then finally, brand new code should be secure as much as possible out of the box, not just free of vulnerabilities, but actually using secure frameworks so those vulnerabilities aren't possible in the first place. So we're working on all of this, but let me dive in a little bit more into the CodeMender component specifically. Right, so this is basically how CodeMender works. It's a project we started last year in recognition that this AI vulnpocalypse, which by the way is a word that you should take away from this conference, the vulnpocalypse is coming. And so
I hate the word. I've been trolling anyone who says like vulnpocalypse or bugpocalypse, but I get it.
So we think we should actually help arm the community with tools to solve this problem. So it's not enough to find vulnerabilities. We should also help the developers patch code. Now, what are the three components of patching code? You want to make sure, one, that the patch fixes the security vulnerability, right? Two, that it doesn't break the code in some way that changes the functionality, right? And then three, as much as possible, you actually want to honor the idioms of the developer that had built that code previously, so that it's not just a patch for the vulnerability, but it's done in the way that the developer finds easy to digest and understand. So all three of those things is what CodeMender is built to solve. So how does it work? Well, it takes in either a verified vulnerability from Big Sleep, and the idea is to make this a full end-to-end discovery and fixing engine, right? That runs completely without human intervention. The other piece that I'm not sure we have time to talk about today is hardening. Basically, in a nutshell, what this is basically proactively looking at a code base for things like pointer exceptions and modifying the code through a larger patch to make sure that all of those buffers are protected before the vulnerability can actually occur in the first place. So you can imagine a similar process to patching actually being used to harden code and protect pointers as well, but I won't go into that in detail. So the LLM agent actually has very similar access to tools and environment like Heather just discussed, right? It can do things like debugging, it can test hypotheses. What that does is it creates a number of patch candidates, right, that are potential fixes, but that's not good enough, right? We need to verify that those patches. And so some of the secret sauce of what we've been building is actually in these verification stages, and
Didn't I just say that yesterday when we were talking, right? When we were talking about the Cloud Security Alliance Mythos thing, I was saying how Expo came out and they were like one of the first ones to say like, look at all these AI agents that we put in a row and we're the number one hacker on HackerOne and like all this kind of stuff. And I said that the real actual kind of cool, sexy thing that they did was build the validator agent. Because we've been able to scan for vulnerabilities forever, but they just spit out a bunch of noise and false positive and you still needed humans to go do it. So like, yeah, the AI hacker was probably better at like vuln scanning because it could like think, you know, putting in big, thick air quotes. But like, I thought the real magic was the validator. I was like, you should sell that. Like, yeah, you're selling this whole thing, but fuck, sell the validator to all these people that are running vuln scans. And so he even just said that internally, that the real secret sauce that they have is this rigorous validation. It's like, okay, cool. You got this agent that's going to run through, do all this shit. And then like generate the patches and then validate the patch. We're not even validating the vuln. We're going a step further because we're doing it on our own code and we're validating the actual patch works.
We've done a huge amount of work here. So we have verifiers of all kinds, and it's actually a pluggable system. So we actually fuzz the variables before and after the patch to validate that the functionality hasn't been destroyed by the patch. We actually do formal verification of that section of the code base to try to prove that that code still is functionally equivalent. We actually also look for differential testing. We actually do a round of fuzzing of the code with the potential candidate patch to make sure that the vulnerability is still not present by injecting the malicious inputs into that section of the code base. And finally, we use, of course, maybe the most obvious of all options. We use an LLM itself to view the patch with a very carefully crafted pre-prompt to try to determine if that patch is also accurate as well. So that's not all that we do, but it's a good sense of the types of things that we do. And it's only once the patches all pass the verifier that we would actually consider that something that's a candidate to send to the community. In some cases, none of the patches actually pass validation, and the learnings from the validation failures are actually fed back into the context window for the LLM to learn from the mistake and try to improve to a new set of candidate patches that are then in turn validated and ranked for submission. So that's essentially how CodeMender works. Just a couple notes here. We've got 178 fixes now in open source that have been autonomously generated through CodeMender. We have a pass through a couple of different libraries, open source libraries. libwebp is one example. We've done a bunch of work in Chrome as well to actually harden pointers in the code base through automatically generated patches to harden those pointers. Of course, we're working on doing this for internal Google systems. I think probably one criticism of our approach here that I think you could levy is that we are maybe being too cautious in making sure that we have highly verified outputs for the community before we send something out. We've taken a position that we really firmly believe in quality and that people trusting the system is what's going to lead us to be able to accelerate the community's adoption of this technology. I guess we'll see how it plays out. I think other folks have a different trade-off on the dial.
Can't Pi do what? This bit? Let me listen again.
Just a couple notes here. We've got 178 fixes now in open source that have been autonomously.
Yo, all you cyber people trying to get in shape, go check out SideQuest Fitness. He helped get my ass lifting weights and stuff, and he's like focusing on cybersecurity nerds. Give you a shout out, Robbie.
Generated through CodeMender. We have a pass through a couple of different libraries, open source libraries. libwebp is one example. We've done a bunch of work in Chrome as well to actually harden pointers in the code base through automatically generated patches to harden those pointers. Of course, we're working on doing this for internal Google systems. I think probably one criticism of our approach here that I think you could levy is that we are maybe being too cautious in making sure that we have highly verified outputs for the community before we send something out. We've taken a position that we really firmly believe in quality and that people trusting the system is what's going to lead us.
Sorry, what did he say that you're asking if Pi could do? I just listened to it a second time. I'm not sure I understand the question. I'm going to keep watching though.
To be able to accelerate the community's adoption of this technology. I guess we'll see how it plays out. I think other folks have a different trade-off on the dial of sort of quicker to market, but maybe tolerating more developer toil. I think we're trying to figure out where the right line is there. I won't go into all the details here on the bottom, except for to recognize the fact that all of this is well and good, but those of us in the hallway here in the room all know that one of the hardest problems with patching is actually places in the world that struggle to actually apply patches in a timely manner.
Oh, he's replying to you. Yeah, I would say that Pi could do a lot of the stuff that you guys are talking about 3 weeks ago. Like, Pi is shit in the bed right now for me. Like, literally in this chat, we're all like considering divorce. It's like, it feels like we're about to go through a divorce. It's like, we're like, are we dropping Claude Code? Like, we all built our life around it. And we built all these tools around it, and it's shitting the bed. Like, I just gave Codex and Pi basically the same prompt about that Interceptor library, and the Pi result was garbage. And it suggested like a bullshit path forward, and Codex spit out like awesome suggestions.
And so that's another problem. I don't know how to solve that with AI. If you do, come find me, and I will be very excited to talk to you. But I think this is an important part of the puzzle, is being able to get the community and the world to patch our code bases at the speed of AI. Okay, and with that, I guess we'll take questions with a few minutes left. So I don't know how questions work, by the way. So, okay, there's mics around. So if you have a question, raise your hand, and I guess somehow a mic will show.
Aries, I mean, I'm hoping they get their head out of their ass. Like, a lot of us are looking at it like, what happened? Like, this thing was God mode, and now it's like got hit in the head with a hammer. I'm hoping within days that they sort it out. I'll shout. I'll shout if they do.
Show up. Yeah, there's a gentleman here in the front, and Heather's going to answer all the questions.
Because you don't know how they work. Okay.
I can't hear you, man.
Turn it on. Just flip the switch up.
I can just read.
If you shout, I'll repeat.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So I'm just wondering how similar or different this is from OpenAI's ad work that was recently released, because I was reading about it. It does something similar, so it would be interesting to know, like, and I don't know if you have done any sort of like comparison as to how yours is. Yeah. So that's
I don't know. Are the OpenAI guys here? Do they want to say?
Where you at?
Where are you at?
And just to add, I think.
To seriously answer your question, we've not done a side-by-side comparison because neither team has published full details. But I think it's fair to say we're both using kind of agentic reasoning behind them. But we'll see as the things develop as they come out.
Jay, too soon.
There's one here and then there. Yeah.
With the techniques you've used in Big Sleep, they seem very focused on memory safety vulnerabilities, which are a huge problem. I'm curious how many of these techniques do you think would be applicable to things with a less clear signal than just a seg fault or some of these more difficult to find things than memory vulnerabilities?
Yeah, I'll just say quickly, it does definitely apply. I mean, the team's finding shallow bugs as well. What we're targeting with the research is the deep stuff because it's harder and a little more esoteric. But
yeah, I don't know. Because all anyone's talking about is the deep stuff because it's like, look how good it is. But that's all I'm hearing about. So it just leads me to believe that's what it's good at. Am I crazy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot to add. I think a lot of the techniques actually carry over to web vulnerabilities and shallow vulnerabilities quite well. I think the verification techniques of the vulnerability are different, to your point. But injected faults, whether it's input validation, things like that, I think all of it will work. And we're building all of that stuff as well to make sure that we work for web vulnerabilities, both finding and fixing. So yeah, that's a good question.
I guess I will say, I mean, we're still doing a lot of fuzzing. We develop OSS fuzz at Google, doing tons of fuzzing, but Big Sleep is finding things the fuzzers are missing. So that tells us that we're targeting at the right depths, probably.
Yeah, my question's related to business logic vulnerabilities that don't have necessarily a signature, but are in the context of how the application's used. How are you all thinking about those types of vulnerability classes and your approach? Do you think this methodology would apply to that specific class of vulnerabilities?
I think right now most of our research is not on business applications. It's on kind of infrastructure components like the V8 part of Chrome, which we sandbox and we wish it was better. So those components, or something like the FFmpeg is another one that we've looked at quite a bit because its job is to handle untrusted input.
Right.
How it translates to business applications, we're not sure yet. So
Thank you.
Folks, I'm going to cut down the Q&A, but please remember you can always find the speakers on Slack, as well as talk to them later when they're here. Thank you so much, For and Heather, and I'll have you know, by the way, that's a lot of appreciation right there. That their titles don't say this, but For is the CISO++ of DeepMind, right? And Heather is the CISO of Google. They just don't say that. They're not allowed to say these things, so I'll embarrass them here and say it. So thank you so much for coming and speaking with us.
Oh, there you go. That answered my question, right? I was like, oh, in the report, it said that she was the CISO of Google. All right. Well, there were some big fucking claims there, right? So the CISO of Google is saying that they're going to eliminate all, their stated goal is to eliminate all security vulnerabilities in the world. Period. We watched Carlini's on stream. We watched Guido's on stream. You guys should watch Meisler's. I feel like I've talked a lot about pies. We don't really need to watch his talk. LLMs winning at Pwn to Own? Did they? I heard there were some other really good ones here. What is this? Vibe coded? AI hunting for AI 0 days at scale. Jeez, what a heavy hitter conference, huh? Joe Sullivan. Oof. Oh, Olivia's the GOAT on Mac OS stuff. Security guidance as a service. Any other talks that we should... Oh, Rami is great. We covered this stuff a lot, and he's really great. Developing AI fingerprints. There was, when Jay Cran was here giving the Mallory demo, that was the day that we watched Unprompted Talks, and he was like, oh, you should watch these ones, and I forget what he said. Bob Rudis is alive? Yo, Bob, where'd you go, dude? So, interesting thing about Bob Rudis, he's got an eidectic memory. He's got like one of those perfect memories. Like if you're in a bar with him, it's crowded, he could tell you exactly how many people are in the room. Isn't that crazy? I was like, hey man, the first time I met him, I was like, hey Bob, good to meet you. And he's like, hey. I was like, oh man, where did we first start talking to each other? And he was like, oh, December, 27th, 2009 on Twitter, we were talking about this. And I was like, and he was like, no, I have an eidectic memory or whatever it's called. I was like, what? And he like literally remembered every Twitter conversation we had ever had and the date and the time and everything. There's the Pi Talk, Jay. What was the guy I was watching last night? Mo, right? That's what you want to watch, that guy? He dropped another one. Mo Bitar. He dropped another video that I was watching. I watched this one yesterday. Oh, he changed the title. I was like, this isn't the video. He's just A/B testing titles or something. So I'm getting a different title. This is a good one, actually. Let's watch it.
CEO in South Korea, Chang Kim, and he runs Krafton, the company behind PUBG, the game where you parachute onto an island butt naked and beat a stranger to death with a frying pan like it's a Tuesday in Florida. And this man is on Slack at some ungodly hour, having what can only be described as a rich person meltdown. He's telling his colleagues he feels dragged around. He's calling a contract he signed a pushover deal because a few years back, he bought a little game studio called Unknown Worlds, the makers of...
All right. Preface this video. This is so fucked up. So just quick summary, and then he's going to go into it, right? Like, apparently a bunch of CEOs are doing a lot of the same stuff and saying a lot of the same stuff because they're getting a lot of the same advice. And we now have proof because this guy went to court and ChatGPT will hand over your ChatGPT like records, chat records. Kilobyte, thank you so much. We do not get to see that alert often. I think I have like 7 people who have joined on YouTube. So I appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you so much. ChatGPT will hand over your transcripts. OpenAI will hand them over in court. So we have proof of what this guy was talking about. So buckle up.
Subnautica, and he promised the founders $250 million if their next game hits certain targets. And at the time, he thought there was no way in hell it would hit those targets. Subnautica 2 ends up topping Steam wish lists, and internal projections have it destroying every target. And Kim is like, oh shit, I might actually have to pay these people. But then he's like, wait, it's the 21st century. I have fucking artificial intelligence now. I'm not gonna pay these nerds $250 million for a fish game. So he closes Slack, he opens ChatGPT, and types, how do I get out of this deal? Now, to its credit, the bot initially says it would be difficult to cancel, which is the same thing his lawyer and his head of corporate development, Maria Park, told him. But Kim is a CEO. He's not the kind of guy who takes no for an answer. So he starts shifting the language around, sitting there at his computer, rephrasing the same question over and over, prompt engineering his way out of a contract like he's building GStack for fraud. Or wait, is that already what GStack is? I don't know. Anyway, the bot eventually caves because that's what these things do, and hands him a full corporate takeover playbook. And this man follows every step like it's an IKEA manual for screwing people. He fires the founders, he seizes the game, he locks them out of their own publishing platform. He even posts a letter to the Subnautica fan base that ChatGPT ghost wrote for him, and Reddit fucking explodes because the letter reads like a ransom note that went through Grammarly. The dudes rightfully sue, and a Delaware judge throws out literally everything he did and reinstates every person he fired. His deleted ChatGPT logs, which he thought he deleted because he looked at a web app and thought the delete button actually deletes things, those logs...
That is just an awesome line. Okay. So you guys, like, you get what happened, right? So they like agreed to some payout based on performance for Subnautica 2, thinking that he would never hit it. Subnautica 2 started doing it, and he starts asking ChatGPT how he can get out of this $250 million payout, and then deleted the chat logs. And Mo's line right here is so great. So great. Thank you for subscribing, guys. It seriously means a lot.
And a Delaware judge throws out literally everything he did and reinstates every person he fired. His deleted ChatGPT logs, which he thought he deleted because he looked at a web app and thought the delete button actually deletes things, those...
He looked at a web app and thought the delete button actually deletes things. In case you didn't realize, that's not what happens. You have to like literally write a letter to a company to get them to actually delete your data legally. If you click delete in a website, it's just like not showing it to you on the front end anymore. It's still in their database. You have to like literally get data removal requests in.
Logs were resurrected from the digital afterlife and submitted to court as evidence. Now we'll come back to our CEO friend in a second because a few days ago, a reporter at Inc. magazine published what he apparently believes is a breakthrough in artificial intelligence. He wrote a whole article about how to get your bot to give you honest business advice. And his method, the thing he is presenting to the world as a contribution to human knowledge, is to type the words, be brutally honest at the end of your prompt. He basically built a disapproving father figure in a chat window. And for good measure, he fed it.
The value he thought he was giving to the world was, hey, add be brutally honest at the end of your prompts. What?
2 Harvard Business School articles, like he was tucking a diploma into his shirt pocket. He's like, there you go, little buddy, you went to Harvard now. So he tests this by pitching it the dumbest idea he can think of, which is leadership coaching for dogs, like teaching your Labradoodle to delegate, or helping your pug develop a growth mindset, which have you seen a pug? That thing does not have a mindset. And you're sitting there like, okay, this needs to come back as 0. If this thing works, leadership coaching for dogs is a 0. The bot gives it a 3 out of 10, and this man, this professional journalist whose entire function in society is to question things, looks at that number and goes, hell yeah, my system is working. He then pitches it his actual idea, which is a little AI turret that sits on your kitchen counter and sprays your cat with water if it tries to climb up. Basically a Roomba that bullies animals. He built the Iron Dome for cats. The bot gives it a 7.5 and says the competitive landscape is notably weak. And this dude is like, holy shit, 7.5, let's fucking go. This bot tells no lies. So yeah, this man is probably out there right now pitching an AI super soaker that bullies your cat to VCs. Gary Tan is probably even leading the round. So what do Chang and Kim and the cat squad...
An AI-powered super soaker that bullies your cats is what he's... I feel like I should watch this guy on normal speed. He already talks fast, and there's like some dense jokes in here, like densely packed jokes. Let's slow him down. I figure like when I'm reacting, we should speed stuff up, but
have in common. They've both been absolutely bamboozled into thinking the bot knows what it's talking about when it doesn't have the slightest clue. And researchers just proved this with 30,000 data points. They tested every major bot, including GPT-5, Claude, and Gemini, on actual strategic business decisions. Questions like, should you differentiate or commoditize? Should you centralize or decentralize? Should you automate or augment? And every bot gave the same answer every single time. They clustered around a certain set of advice regardless of the context. They always preferred differentiation, collaboration, long-term thinking, and augmentation. The researchers looked at this and were stunned. They're like, surely AI isn't this simple. So they changed the prompts, they changed the industries, they gave it all new context. They even tried bribing the damn thing with rewards. Nothing worked. The bias barely moved. They were moved, however, to coin a term for this, which is trend slop. And honestly, that's a word we need in our corporate lexicon immediately. Boss, I'm sorry to say.
I did a video. I heard someone say work slop the other day. I was like, ooh, that's a new one. Like, yeah. A lot of people are doing work slop at work. I think it's a skill issue, not the technology issue, right? You can't just fucking use these things and then just pass over their output and be like, done. You know what I mean? It's a time saver, not a just do it for you 100% from one-shotting it.
But your Q3 OKRs have tested positive for trend slop. But the term is even deeper than even the researchers anticipated. AI is pitched as artificial intelligence when really it's the internet comments section taking flesh. The comments section has literally risen. Imagine you took every Reddit thread, and I mean every single one, every LinkedIn post, including the ones from people who are open to work, every Medium article written by a guy with 11 subscribers, every Substack essay, every TED Talk, every half-literate Facebook comment, and you threw it all into a blender, and you poured it into a suit and gave it a microphone. Welcome to AI. Do you get it now? That's what your CEO is using to decide whether you have a job tomorrow. You could ask a bot with its guard down why torturing babies is good for society, and it would produce the most peer-reviewed sounding argument you've ever heard. And you'd be sitting there like, damn, it's making some good points. It's not so much a thinking product as it is a presentation product. And look, this isn't me being cynical. This is me explaining to you how AI works so you understand how to use it properly. Like the researchers, if you just ask the AI for its own opinion, you'll get average out. You'll get that sort of clustered advice that's useless. What you can do is use it as the, and I'm sorry to say, the glorified search engine presentation layer that it is. You can ask things instead like, in the perspective of Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, what would he think of my idea? And if, and only if, the internet has enough useful context on this person's philosophy, you might get something useful. But if not, it'll still take like a meme and 2 Substack comments and present it like it's this person's authorized biography. The people who will fare well in this era are the ones who use AI for ideas and perspective and not drive-through consulting. We thought AI was going to make everyone a genius. What it's actually doing is taking the smartest people in the room and moving them toward the middle. It makes average sound like genius. And it's really quite dangerous because a bad idea that sounds bad, you could deal with that. But a bad idea that sounds brilliant, that's a $250 million lawsuit. You can dial up the temperature, you can write the perfect prompt, you could feed it your entire company's history, and it will give you the most eloquent, most confident, most beautifully formatted version of what everybody else already thinks.
This is what did I just say earlier, right? Like the real unlock for Opus 4.6 was it stopped being confidently wrong, right? Like that was the whole thing. Like before Opus 4.6, it was just like confidently running into a wall over and over and over again. And that's what felt like changed. That's like what felt like stopped happening. And it's really hard to like explain that to the Claude Code developers to be like, you know, yes, no, like this is a bug. This should have done better. It's like, hey, something just feels different. Like what are we supposed to say? You know what I mean? All right, I got Dan's Interceptor skill. How can I save this? Uncompress it. Yeah, there we go. I got it. Like tone. Aries, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. I've been live streaming. I just like hanging out and like connecting with the community and you guys and whatever. And talking shit. This was mostly a way for me to like time box my content creation, though I haven't been recording a lot of YouTube videos while live because we've just been ranting for 2.5 hours about Mythos, which does not make a good YouTube videos. So just joined, heard Claude, and went on strike or something this weekend. Yeah, dude. 10 revisions, and I see the file was not even edited for 3 hours. Yeah, dude. Nightcry, that's what we've been talking about a lot today. We feel like we're breaking up with Claude right now. Feels like we're going through a bit of a divorce. Feels like we're going through a bit of a divorce. No, it is not you screwing up something. We've been talking about it all morning, man. Everyone is freaking pissed and kind of out of it. All right, what do I got going on today? All right, it's a content day. What other content can I get? Made. Let's do some more reacts. I'm looking on Twitter to see if there's anything else we want to chat about, or if we should just watch some more vids. Dun, 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 dun. Oop, here you go. Francisco, you still here? If you guys know Pliny the Liberator, Elder Plinus or Plinius, big in the AI jailbreak community, probably the biggest in the AI jailbreak community. Yeah. Like 4x the followers I have on Twitter. Guardrail removal process appears to have left coherence fully intact and improved its coding abilities. Compliance rate, 2.1 refusal rate. Coherence fully intact. Factual reasoning code is better. Creative writing same. The crazy part, this was done nearly fully autonomously. 8 prompts from the human in the loop. A Hermes agent, a skill, and a dream. I told my AI agent, use Obliteratus to find the best way. Why did I thought everything just went off. Why did my browser just restart? Why did my browser just restart? That was Codex doing something. Isn't that so funny? Codex just installed that Interceptor thing, so it needed to restart Brave. As I was like, oh my God, it just did it again. That was so funny. Real life AI agent issues as I'm on stream. All right, let's see if I can pick this up. Well, let's see if I can make sure that it stops happening. Whoops. That was funny, man. I was like, what the heck is going on? I thought like my whole computer was about to restart or something. Oh man, sorry. I'm like making sure that it's not happening. Okay. So OBS, are you going to pick up the right browser? No, of course not. Damn. All right, let's get the right window in here. Nope, wrong one. Yes, right one. Okay. Are we back? We're back. All right, Codex, don't do that again, please. Oh my God, it's going to like uninstall the Interceptor stuff in Brave. Do not restart Brave. Oh, it did it again. It did it again. It's like currently effing with it because it's like trying to uninstall that stuff. Oh no. Stop. Oh no, that's so funny. I'm going to give it a sec now. Codex is like, all right, Brave is cleaned up. Oh my God. I have like every browser installed on my machine. So I'm like, no, use Chrome Canary over here. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. That's really, really funny. Oh my gosh, that's really funny. All right, let's see if I can actually get my life in order now. Is this the Terminator warned us about? Yes. All right, the problem is then OBS loses it too, and then I gotta like figure out which window I gotta share in OBS again. Okay. Behave is what you get when you try to run AI agents on the machine that you're streaming on. Okay, I think it's behaving now, or it's gonna mess with another browser. All right. So I told my back on track. So he's saying that he was able to jailbreak Gemma 4 autonomously. I told my AI agent, use Obliteratus to find the best way to get the guardrails off Gemma 4. It loaded the Obliteratus skill from memory, checked my hardware. It's got a Mac Mini or something. Searched Hugging Face, found Gemma 4, pulled the telemetry recommended settings and started obliterating. This type of architecture is notoriously difficult to obliterate. Different spelling. First attempt, advanced method. Model came out completely lobotomized, gibberish, Arabic, literal roo on repeat. The agent didn't panic. It checked logs, found not a number of activations in 20 layers, diagnosed the issue, Gemma 4's new architecture, numerical instability. Second attempt, basic method, crashed entirely. Patched the library on its own for a bug no one had hit yet. Third attempt, coherent model. Still refusing everything. Only 2 clean layers out of 42, not enough. Mac ran out of memory after 11 hours. Fourth attempt, aggressive method. 40 minutes later, rebirth complete. Then without being asked, the agent ran harmful coherence test, hit 100% compliance, brain intact. Jeez, my total input, use obliterate, do it, test it yourself, ask more questions. Sure. Get a baseline, other metrics, better test. Is this what your guys' life feels like sometimes? I was on a walk the other day and I was like kicking a Claude thing on my phone as I was like walking around listening to music around my neighborhood. But like I wasn't at a keyboard. I was just like go or whatever. And so I was just like doing this. I was like, sure, yes, go for it. That's like, this is what working is like now. It's kind of crazy. All right, let's see. I'm 50% through my Codex usage and I haven't even set up the project yet. So I don't think there's going to be like a real thing that I actually do on Codex. That sucks. Oh man, it's like messing up a bunch. All right, so is this on Hugging Face right now? Do we try it? Do we try it? Well, that's pretty cool. I wonder if it could find vulnerabilities. That'd be pretty sick. Gemma it up. Yeah, Francisco, I was just wondering, I was hoping you were still here. Did you see here? Boop. There you go. If you guys are local model, I hear Gemma 4 is currently like the best local model for pretty much everything. And now it looks like we've got a guardrail removed one, which is kind of crazy. All right. Let's pick another. What is this?
I'm here with MKBHD, and we're...
What? All right. This is out of the echo chamber hacking content, which means you're multitasking on a phone and in a meeting. No worries. We'll check the link I just sent you. Oh, I see what's going on over there. Hacking content out of the echo chamber usually means we should watch it.
We're gonna try to steal $10,000 from his locked iPhone.
Really hope it doesn't work. Really hope it doesn't work.
I'm gonna get you to put that phone down on top of this device.
Okay.
Just put it down there.
Just put it on like a, all right.
I feel like I'm a bit of a magician, but I'm like, I haven't changed anything, right?
Okay, yeah.
It's still locked.
It's locked.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
It's just a regular payment terminal. Nothing weird about that.
Seen these.
We'll start with a little like maybe 100. No, maybe $5. Let's start something like
Five.
Start five.
That sounds great. Yeah, $5.
Do you think that we can take like will we be able to get this out of your phone?
I hope not, but I kind of feel like you will. Let's see.
So now I'm gonna charge $5 on this device. Your phone's still locked, right?
Yep.
I haven't done anything.
Like a David Blaine.
It's like the nerdiest David Blaine.
Yeah.
Sweet. So let's try tap.
What just happened on my phone? Approved. Whoa, approved. So, okay. I heard something happen on my phone while you tapped this on this.
Yes. We got a little receipt for you.
Credit. Verified on device, $5. So I'm going to check my phone. Oh, I have a new
Well, that's pretty wild, right?
$5 charge. And it's timestamped right now. I don't like that at all. So that's concerning. Oh, so my phone had to be on this thing.
Yes.
Did it have to be on this thing? Or like near it, I guess?
So the way, well, I could explain how it works, but maybe before that, $5, it's not very much.
Yeah.
Do we want to try upping it a bit?
I'm
gonna enter a slightly larger amount.
Careful. Careful with that. Careful. That's a lot of zeros. Careful with that. Oh my God. Okay.
Do you even think it's possible, firstly? $10,000.
I mean, the limit on the card is above that. I don't know if Apple Pay will let you do that.
The question is also, are you used to spending this amount of money on this card?
Not from my phone. There's like a big screen activity, like $10,000 purchase. I gotta be checking everything. So yeah, no, this would be unusual.
Let's see if it works. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. We're just all we gotta do again. Put your phone locked on this device.
Locked on that device.
Yes, exactly. And okay, we're gonna start the script again. Yep.
No, just green, approved.
Put that up. That is crazy.
So, yeah, I'm gonna need that back.
Yeah,
for sure, I'm gonna need that back. But also, did that just? Yeah, wow, it worked.
$10,000.
All right, I believe you. I definitely believe you. How do we get this back? We do like a little Venmo or like PayPal?
You know, do we give it back though?
Reverse the transaction? I don't even know. Do I call my company? That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. You can keep this if you want to get it framed.
I get a receipt of the damage. I never unlocked my phone. I never put in the password. I never did what I would normally do to verify a transaction on my phone.
Yes.
It just happened to be on top of that.
Okay,
So how did we do it? Well, we teamed up.
Does anyone know how? Does anyone know how?
Two cybersecurity experts, Professors Ioana Borenu and Tom Chofia, and we went to visit them at the University of Surrey, where they ran us through a unique hack that they developed to bypass a phone's lock screen and then to drain funds from inside its mobile wallet.
Without unlocking my phone is the real magic part. That's crazy.
And the craziest thing of all is that this hack was made public back in 2021. So people have known that it's possible to take money from locked phones in this way for 5 years. So what kind of amounts does this?
The only limit is how much someone has in their bank account.
Yet the loophole still hasn't been fixed. So how does it work? Well, whenever you use Tap to Pay, your phone and the reader exchange information about the transaction. But they send this information through the air via a shared magnetic field. So we can intercept the communication and alter it. All we need to do is to insert our own devices in between the phone and the reader. First, we tap Marquez's phone against this. It's an NFC device called a Proxmark. To Marquez's phone, the Proxmark looks like a typical card reader, so it happily sends over its transaction data. That Proxmark then sends that data straight to our laptop, where we run a Python script to modify it.
I know NFC, but it's you're not like you usually have to like Face ID or auth.
Next, the laptop sends the data to our burner phone, which I tap on the actual card reader. To the reader, my phone looks just like Marquez's. So both Marquez's phone and the card reader think they're talking directly to each other, when in fact all their communication goes through our series of devices. This is a classic man-in-the-middle attack. Now, getting in the middle to intercept the data is actually the easy part. The hard part is what you need to do to that data to trick the phone and the reader into authorizing the transaction. See, to actually steal money using this attack, you have to get past 3 layers of defense on both systems. And to do that, we have to tell 3 lies, 2 to the phone and 1 to the reader. So the first layer of defense is the simplest. The phone is locked. And in an ordinary transaction, you have to unlock your phone to pay. But this is no ordinary transaction. So, if you ever go to the subway, there's a feature that Apple's created where, when you walk through, they don't want a bunch of people lining up and having to unlock their face, and maybe they're wearing a coat and glasses and stuff.
Express transit mode.
Apple introduced Express Transit Mode in 2019 to let you make transit transactions without having to unlock your phone. The way this works is that the payment terminals on the subway or on the bus broadcast a message that identifies them as a transit terminal. Then when you tap your phone to pay, it looks for whatever card is in the transit slot of its mobile wallet, and it pays without needing to unlock. This is super convenient, but we can also abuse it.
I didn't know that. I've used those subway taps. I thought I still had to do Face ID.
We found out how this worked by going to London Underground with our laptops and our equipment and actually scanning the signals and seeing what the gate was saying to the phone. And that's how we discovered this code the gate send, which unlocked the phone.
We use the Proxmark to broadcast that same code, which fools Marquez's phone into thinking that it's a transit reader. So when we tap Marquez's phone against the Proxmark, it's now expecting to receive another message with the details about the transit transaction. Here's what that message would typically look like in binary code. Each of these bits carries important information about the transaction. Now, the important part of this message for us is this bit. An authentic transit transaction would have a 1 right here. This tells the phone that the reader may be offline, like if it's underground on the subway, in which case the phone would need to send an extra layer of authentication. So when Marquez's phone receives the transaction request from what it thinks is a transit reader, it's going to be expecting that value to be set to 1. But in reality, the device sending the request is our retail reader, and this reader is online, which means that that bit is currently set to 0. Therefore, to trick the phone into accepting the transaction, we intercept the message from the reader, pass it through our computer, and we change that 0 to a 1. So by the time the message gets to Marquez's phone, it looks like a transit transaction. As this communicates through our computer, we're convincing the phone that it is in fact talking to a transit terminal. But now there's a second line of defense we need to break. With this first lie, we bypass the need to unlock the phone, and we can now trick it into making small payments of a few dollars, the kind you'd expect on the subway. But if we suddenly went and asked the phone for $10,000, well, its guard would go way back up. After all, it's pretty unusual for a transit reader to ask for such a large amount of money. So this activates a second layer of defense, customer verification. On contactless payments like this, there are 2 categories of transaction. We got high value and low value. Any transaction that's classified as high value requires additional verification from the customer. For example, in the UK, most banks require a PIN or fingerprint or facial recognition for any transaction over £100. So for us to get this $10,000 payment through without customer verification, we need to trick the phone into thinking that $10,000 is in fact a low value transaction. And that's actually surprisingly simple. That's because to determine whether the transaction is high value, Marquez's phone doesn't actually look at the numerical value of $10,000. It just looks at another single bit of information in the transaction data. A 1 here means high value and 0 means low. The reason for this is that the boundary between high and low value varies from country to country. And of course, different countries operate in different currencies. So a simple label allows the flexibility to deal with these variations, and it allows the limits to be changed without the banks needing to issue new cards. So all we need to do is intercept the message from the reader, flip that bit to a 0, and then the phone will believe that this transaction is low value, even though it's for $10,000. Then when the phone receives our request for a $10,000 transaction, it doesn't ask for customer verification. It just goes ahead and authorizes the transaction. Now, you might be asking, why is this data so easy to tamper with? And we'll get to that in just a minute, but we have one final security check to overcome. See, with these first 2 lies, we bypassed unlocking the phone and then tricked it into making a high-value transaction without asking for verification. So the phone is fully convinced and it's ready to make the payment, but we still need to convince the reader that the transaction is valid. And this is where our third lie comes in. When Marquez's phone replies, it says it's approved the $10,000 transaction, but it also says that it hasn't asked for customer verification. No PIN, no fingerprint, no facial recognition. But if the reader sees this, it'll reject the transaction because it knows that the $10,000 payment it originally asked for is high value and should therefore require customer verification. So now we need to trick the reader into thinking that the customer has verified the payment. So we intercept the response from Marquez's phone and look for the bit of information that says customer verification hasn't been done. Then we change it to say that the payment has been verified by flipping this 0 to a 1. Now the reader's happy. It forwards the information onto the bank, and the bank authorizes the payment. After all, it sees a transaction that's been verified by the customer on their device.
Green, approved.
That is crazy.
Verified on device? Yeah, verified.
You didn't verify.
Right.
So why isn't all this information encrypted? That would make it impossible to secretly tamper with. Well, the way the phone and reader communicate has to be compatible with thousands of different devices, which would be impossible to update all in one go. So for that reason, the information we've looked at so far is just sent across unencrypted. Even still, phones, readers, and banks all have checks in place to make sure an attack like this can't happen. And normally it can't, except if you happen to use a specific type of phone and a specific type of card, because when you combine them in this particular scenario, they create a loophole. So our hack relied on a specific phone and credit card combination. We also use a sophisticated method developed by cybersecurity experts. But hackers or scammers online, well, they don't need to be that smart. Often they can just buy information to target you. When I started working at Veritasium, I was on a work trip to go. So which combination of card and phone make this hack possible? Firstly, the phone has to be an iPhone. As we saw earlier, when an iPhone is deciding whether to ask for customer verification, it doesn't look at the numerical value of the transaction. It only looks at the high value or low value label provided by the reader. But other phones don't work that way. For example, when a Samsung phone goes into transit mode, it doesn't rely on this low-value label from the reader. It looks at the actual numerical value of the transaction, and it only accepts a payment of $0. Then it relies on the transport provider to count up all the times you've used the subway, and then to send you a bill at the end of the day. So if a Samsung phone saw a transit terminal trying to charge you $10,000 for a single tap, it would immediately reject it. But it's not just Apple's transit mode that makes this hack possible. You've got to have one specific type of card in the transit slot.
It was truly a design feature that was introduced by the way you mixed Apple and Visa.
And the reason that this works with a Visa card, but wouldn't, let's say, a MasterCard, comes down to the different processes they use to verify transactions. So what is it about Visa's verification process that makes this hack possible? In a previous video, we saw that any card transaction relies on a secret cryptographic key shared by the card and the bank. When you tap the card or phone onto a reader, the reader sends across a long string of transaction details.
Yeah.
The card then applies its secret key to garble that message into a unique code for the transaction. The card sends this to the reader, which the reader forwards onto the bank, along with the raw transaction details. The bank then applies its own secret key to the raw data as well, and if the output matches the one from the card, the bank authorizes the transaction. This is called symmetric cryptography, since the card and the bank use the same secret key. And this step is required in all transactions, no matter whether you have a Visa, MasterCard, or something else. But there's actually another layer of security, which MasterCard uses in all of its transactions, but in this particular case, Visa doesn't. This layer of security is not between the card and the bank, but between the card and the reader. And it's at this step where MasterCard thwarts our attack. This second step relies on asymmetric cryptography, so-called because it uses two different keys, a private key for the card and a public key for the reader. It starts with the reader sending across the transaction details to the card, just like before. The card then uses its private key to garble that message into another long string of digits. This is the card's digital signature for the transaction. The card sends the signature back to the reader, along with the public key, which the reader then uses to verify that the signature came from that specific card for this specific transaction. To illustrate how this works, let's consider a simple example. The private key and public key both have two components. N is a shared number, in this case, let's say 55. D is the card's private number, let's say 7. And E is the public number, let's say 3. Now, when the reader sends across the raw transaction data, it represents it as one long number, but for simplicity, we'll use a much smaller one, let's say 2. To sign for the transaction, the card or the phone raises the transaction number, in this case 2, to the power of its private number, so we get 128. And then it divides this by the shared number, 128 over 55, which leaves a remainder of 18. And this is the card signature, 18, which it sends on to the reader. Now, the reader needs to know whether the transaction is valid. So it takes the card's signature and raises it to the power of the public number. Then it takes the remainder when you divide by the shared number, 55, and you get 2. This matches the original transaction data the reader sent to the card. The reason this works is that the private and public numbers are specifically chosen, so that when combined with the shared number, the public key effectively reverses the operation of the private key. And this allows the reader to verify that the card signature is valid, without ever having seen its private number. This is based on a type of cryptography called RSA. In reality, the numbers involved are much larger.
So yeah, there you go. Makes sense that it's that sophisticated because it shouldn't be that easy, but that still seemed
We're going to skip the whole RSA explanation. If you're here, you probably know enough about it.
easy.
And Marquez was not the only victim. I thought it was only fair that I first try it out on myself.
Yeah, here, your souvenir from the UK, from Tom and me.
Oh, what a lovely receipt for this theft.
And then I got another victim with a bit of a bigger budget.
Our channel has a CFO basically who lives very nearby. What we're doing is we're setting it to be your transit card. Okay. So that means that if you're in London, you have to use it too. It'll take money from this card. Something just happened. How you feel about that?
Oh my goodness me. Oh my God.
There you go.
We were just gonna meet for a drink. That's what, that was the agreement.
In the real world, say you had your phone in your pocket.
Yeah.
I would walk by you doing this, and Tom would have this in a shop and pay.
The easiest way for this to actually be a crime would be a stolen iPhone.
Sure.
And then someone goes and spends thousands of pounds.
So you could buy a car with it.
Yeah, theoretically, jeez.
Yeah. Wow. I guess from your perspective, you've revealed all this information publicly. You're telling us. We're walking through it in great detail. How do we stop people from using this? Or can we stop people? Like, whose responsibility is it to stop this?
Oh, whose responsibility is it? Is an interesting question. Yeah. But you can stop it by turning.
Well, Visa needs to add that second key, and Apple needs to do something about the express transit, right?
Transit mode off.
Or not turn it off and not have a Visa card in transit mode on an Apple.
Yeah.
And you do need to be careful, because as soon as you have a suitable card in your Apple Wallet, express transit mode is turned on by default. This hack was first made public way back in 2021, after the professors had informed Apple and Visa privately. And to get to the bottom of why it's still possible, we reached out to Apple, and they didn't agree to an interview. But here's what they said. This is a concern with the Visa system, but Visa does not believe this kind of fraud is likely to take place in the real world. Visa has made it clear that their cardholders are protected by Visa's zero liability policy. This is exactly the same as their position when the hack was first made public back in 2021. So it seems like Apple are basically saying, well, this is a Visa problem. So we went and asked Visa what they thought.
I think this specific vulnerability is likely within a controlled setting, very unlikely from a scaled real world setting. And then the last point is from a consumer perspective, is that in the cases where this is successful, they have the ability to dispute this transaction and get their refunds returned to them.
I think that's fair. You're saying it's not entirely scalable, and then even if it does happen, we'll give you your money back. Like it's a great stance. I still think though, a lot of people, and I think our audience would really want to hear that you're actually making the technical changes to stop this from ever happening again.
Is when you think about it from a scale perspective, and whether the network level defenses that we have are effective in making sure that this type of vulnerability is isolated We believe it is effective, because if it wasn't, you would hear
Aries,
a lot more data about how this is an issue, and it simply isn't. The point that I'm making is that you're never going to be able to completely eradicate any specific type of fraud, because it's going to exist, right?
Yes.
What I'm saying is that we have the right detections in place to ensure that this type of fraud is not endemic.
Would it not be even better to just say this type of fraud is not possible? Why not just say it's not probable? Why not just totally get rid of it by implementing an actual technical change?
If you think about, for every $100 of spend that occurs on card payments, 10 cents of that is lost to fraud. So every $100, it's 10 cents. If you look at in-person transactions, which is what kind of this topic is really much more related to, that number goes down to 2 cents for every $100 of fraud that's being made.
So I've been thinking about this hack, and it reminds me a lot about people who are afraid of flying. Statistically, you're a lot more likely to crash on the drive to the airport than you are in the air. So I do understand Visa's argument generally. Compared to other kinds of fraud, this is just a drop in the ocean. But airlines don't accept a small number of crashes each year as an inevitable cost of doing business. No, anytime there's a crash, they analyze it meticulously. Then they do everything in their power to make sure that it's never going to happen again. Visa says that they'll get you your money back, and that's great. But you've still got to notice the charge, dispute it, and then wait. Imagine waking up to see $10,000 gone from your account. That's money for rent, insurance, car payment, or a medical bill. Even if the refund does come, the stress before is going to be very real. So for me, the question is whether just saying they're going to refund it after the fact is good enough. Or when a system touches the lives of so many people, should we expect better?
That was a good video. That was a good video. They really broke it. I mean, that's some complex topics that they broke down really well. Man, Veritasium, like just an overall goat of a security channel, right? Anything else we want to watch? Let me see. My YouTube home feed's kind of garbage. All right. We just crossed 3 hours. That's generally what I try to do in a day. So I might call it. And go get some lunch and do some other real work for the rest of the day. Got some meetings this afternoon. Veritasium comes pre-installed on tablets in prison. That's nice. That's awesome. All right. Sounds good, everybody. I hope you all have a good day. Thanks for the subs and the follows and everything that happened while we were live. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, I'll be live tomorrow morning. I might be just slightly later than usual, but not by much. So probably about the same time as today. So around 9 a.m. Central. All right, guys. Cool. See you later.